I guess without further vamping and without further ado, mechanical violator Hakaider.
Yes, mechanical violator, Hakaider. Something perhaps was lost in translation. The title for this film is oddly pornographic. However, I will go ahead, sir.
Is he a mechanical violator in that he violates mechanical devices, or is he mechanical and violator is also just a description?
See, that's the thing, is I want to say something was lost in translation. This happens a lot, perhaps not so much these days, but there was certainly a time in Japanese media where use of English language and certain iconography, particularly religious iconography, was used very flippantly, you see.
Really?
Case in point, Jesus and crucifixes. They find their way into the damnedest of places in Japanese media, particularly of a certain vintage. In this case, I want to say this is strictly just like a translation. Like, just somebody thought the word violator was a strong, like, visceral, like, it hits in a certain way. It things, because I actually understand enough Japanese and can read enough Japanese that I can tell you right now that actually you can see it on the screen right there. There's kanji and katakana written there at the bottom of the screen that actually says Jinzo Ningen Hakaider, which does not mean mechanical violator Hakaider. It means artificial person or artificial thing. Artificial person, basically. Artificial human being Hakaider. Which is not mechanical violator Hakaider.
No.
So I want to say that it's just a case where it just like the sound of it. It's it's the Joker. It's the devil. Do you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? What? It's like, mechanical violator Hakaider. What? It's just like the sound of it. Bang.
Yeah. I say it to all of my victims.
I mean, he could have said rubber baby baggy bumpers, and Michael Keaton still would have said, "What? What? Do you know what killed the dinosaurs? What? Ice Age, bang!"
There's something so wonderfully human about like that whole scene in Batman '89. I'm like, this is just phenomenal.
It's incredible cinema. It's incredible. It's just, I don't know where we're going. I don't know if anyone in this room knows where we're going, but whatever is transpiring right now is incredible because that whole sequence is just gold. And it is tense. It's bonkers. Nothing jives with anything, but it lives in my memory rent free. It's amazing.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
That big stupid shit-eating grin on his face. It's incredible. Like everything that happens in that
Jack, what does that mean?
he's amusing himself. That's actually like, I think probably like the whole concept of that character is that the things he does, the things that come out of his mouth, they're to amuse him and him alone. It's like, it doesn't have to make a lick of sense. It's what Jack wanted to do. It's what Jack chose. Jack has a lot of investment in this film, and if it does really well, he stands to make a lot of money, so he's going to make a lot of choices. Anyway, mechanical violator Hakaider, or Jinzo Ningen Hakaider, however you want to phrase it, is the title of the film that we're reviewing today. This is from 1995, and of course, this is part of our all-month-long Keita Amemiya month, or Amemiya Keita, however you want to put it. Amemiya is the man's surname. He is a Japanese director, obviously. Often in the tokusatsu subgenre, which often consists of, as I think Levi put it, men in plastic costumes slap fighting in quarries, something along those lines. It's kind of his chosen subgenre, and it is expressly like a live action genre. There have been animated adaptations of these kinds of works, but traditionally it's a live action thing. We started out the month reviewing probably my favorite movie of his, Kamen Rider Zo. So far, that seems to be the case with Levi as well. It seemed like you had the most positive reaction to that one as well. We followed that up with Kamen Rider J, which is explicitly targeted at slightly younger audiences, moves at the same pace as Zo, but doesn't have the same spirit or clarity of vision, I'd say. Which brings us to Hakaider, which actually, he had an intervening film that came out between J and this. I actually didn't present it to you, Levi. I didn't ask you to review it with me because it's a sequel to a film that I think I did a solo review of for Catching Up on Cinema ages ago. Zeiram. If I say the word Zeiram to you, does it mean anything, Levi?
No.
Okay. Zeiram is a very important film in Keita Amemiya's filmography, largely because it is like a tokusatsu film. So it has lots of splashy optical effects, men in plastic costumes, slap fighting, not in quarries, but in factories, abandoned factories. It's the other place where slap fighting happens in Japan.
Other places of industry where people are not there presently.
Yes, it's very cheap to film. So Zeiram, as far as I understand, is an entirely original product from the director. And it is one of his strongest efforts. I would have actually asked you to review it with me if I hadn't already done it. It's from fairly early in his career. It's actually pre-Zo, I think. It's from like 1992, maybe. And it's terrific. It's great fun. It has a really fun balance. It has like a madcap quality that feels kind of Sam Raimi-esque at times. Like it has a goofy, like energetic sense of humor about itself. It has legitimately amazing costume and like monster designs and stuff that just runs the gamut in terms of like 1980s sci-fi references. Like there's an explicit power loader reference to aliens in there. You have a lady protagonist that feels kind of Ripley-esque at times. And the final form that the creature takes is entirely inspired by Rob Bottin's work on John Carpenter's The Thing. And Zeiram, like I said, is kind of like a foundational effort on his part. It's like one of his most famous works, but more importantly, it's his. It belongs to him. In 1994, between Kamen Rider J, and the release of Hakaider, both of which were like big studio efforts using IP, like a currently existing IP, he did Zeiram 2, which I think is mostly equal to the first Zeiram, except for they had a higher budget. So they get to have even niftier effects. So both the Zeiram films, I think, are terrific. The only reason I didn't have you talk with me about it is because I didn't want to throw you a sequel where you're like, the fuck? What is this? What even the fuck?
Even more than I already am this month.
I know. It's weird how my brain worked in that way, where it's like, why do you even care, Trevor? You're already throwing it in the deep end with this whole business. Just do it. So I guess we could have done that. And you probably could say that Zeiram 2 is the better film. But Hakaider from 1995. This was another one of those superhero fair movies we've been talking about this all month. This was shown as a double and a triple feature with a couple of other Toei Studios tokusatsu films in like the Super Sentai and Metal Hero genres. So there exists two versions of this film, which might result in an interesting conversation structurally anyway, because there's the superhero fair version, the quote theatrical cut. And then there's also a director's cut version, which I believe only exists in standard definition and was on, I think it was Laserdisc and VHS, but never printed beyond that. So I have a Blu-ray that contains both versions. However, the image quality is only HD for the theatrical cut. Theatrical cut is about 55 minutes. Director's is about 77. So there's substantial difference between the two. And it shows. Like, the director's cut feels more like a movie. Like, as you would expect a movie to feel. Theatrical cut has the same pace of Kamen Rider Zo and Kamen Rider J, which is to say, all gas, no brakes. We have no time for anything. Everything's just like, let's bounce from action scene to action scene and infer a lot of character depth and narrative. So I guess this comes to the point where I guess I have to ask you, Levi, which cut did you end up ultimately watching? Because you did ask me for like counsel on this, but I don't think we ever settled that between the two of us.
I could not find the theatrical cut to save my life. I could not find it.
Okay.
The only thing that was free and available is the director's cut, which is streaming for free via Tubi in very slick quality.
Really?
It is free on Tubi, and that is how I watched it.
Okay. So in that sense, we will be aligned, being as I did rewatch both cuts, but I only took notes on the extended director's cut. So that's handy. We won't be having to like check each other, being like, that didn't happen next. You're full of shit. But it should be said, I guess, at the top, this is based on a pre-existing work. This is based on a pre-existing IP. However, the narrative of this and the positioning of the characters is entirely unique to this. So it's kind of like taking a character who is known and taking it for a ride. Like, so everything that transpires in this story is entirely isolated to this film. There was a Sega Saturn video game that came out of this movie that serves as a pseudo sequel.
I noticed that this was produced by Sega.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sega was involved in the production, and the Saturn game is a light gun shooter. There were a handful of those on the Saturn. Pretty good ones, too, because the Saturn always handled sprites really, really well, and that's how the graphics were presented in that. But it actually has a minor narrative to it. It serves as like a pseudo-sequel to this movie in some respects. I haven't played it myself, but I have watched like clips of it. So this is based on a property called Keita, or Hakaider, however you want to put it. It's also a work of Shotaro Ishinomori, who's the same author as the Kamen Rider like universe, basically. Very, very prolific author and like mangaka, so like manga author. Created some truly astounding IP that persists to this day. Keita is... A lot of Japanese media is very tropey and iterative. They're very unashamed of taking the same thing and shedding its skin and presenting it anew. It is like the idea of like borrowing from another artist's work and paying homage to it in the form of a repackaging of sorts is seemingly a very, very common practice. Keita is a little bit of Pinocchio, and by extension, it's a little bit of Astro Boy, which by extension is then like referenced by, say, Mega Man, which is then referenced by, like, say, Speed Racer, which is referenced by Mega Man, which is referenced by Mega Man Zero. So all these things have similarities and parallels where it's like Hakaider kind of has the Mega Man and Proto Man thing going for it. And Speed Racer has Racer X and all that business. In Kikaida's case, it's very much like a Pinocchio story, where it's like it's an android who has a, quote, conscience circuit. That was very Rich Evans, like, unconscious. Unconscious.
Unconscious. Folding Chable.
Hey, I can't talk any shit on that, man. I do that shit all the time. I think when I was a kid, my friends gave me shit for saying the phrase "har" and "fi." They were like, "Did you have a stroke?" I was trying to say "far" and "high," I think. But I think Brendan Schaub, if you know who that is, Levi, I have a fascination in Brendan Schaub. I don't like the man. He's kind of a dipshit. But I click on his videos to watch ironically, and YouTube doesn't understand that. And so it affects my ad algorithm on YouTube. It thinks I'm a person that I am not, because YouTube doesn't understand irony. It only understands clicks. So I consume a lot of Brendan Schaub content because I enjoy laughing at the man. I don't think he's funny. I think as a human being, he's fascinating. Anyway, he said the phrase lambed moonding. Levi, what am I trying to say?
Moon landing?
Wow, you got it in one.
Lambed moonding.
He said it entirely straight-faced. Folding table? Got it. Yeah,
I feel like lamb moonding. That feels like a near psychotic version. It's sort of like a surf and turf. Like this is where you would be served like beef and mutton at a table. Lamb moonding.
Lamb moonding. It's like on the menu. It's like I would like the lambed moonding, please.
Yeah. Medium. Yeah. Could you cook that medium? Thank you.
Yeah,
the lamb.
Your finest lambed moonding. the lady will have the lambed moonding. Anyway.
Excellent choice, sir. Excellent.
Unconscious. So Keita, his whole thing is he's an android. He has a conscience circuit that is incomplete. So that's where the Pinocchio thing comes on. Hakaider is essentially his opposite, and Hakai in Japanese refers to just destruction or destroy. So like Hikai, I believe, refers to like machine. So like machine person. Hakaider is like destroyer person. So he's supposed to be like the antithesis essentially, and he often has tension with Keita, where the idea is his Geppetto figure's brain is actually in the body of Hakaider at one point. Anyway, the point I'm trying to emphasize here is that Hakaider is not the protagonist of the Keita franchise. He was the antagonist, and not even like the chief one. He was just kind of like the chief heavy. He was the odd job.
He is the base to Mega Man.
Yes, he's the base to Mega Man.
Yeah.
And the way he's positioned in this film specifically, I would make the reference to Zero from Mega Man, where the idea of Zero is that he was also made by Dr. We're getting into Mega Man lore now. I didn't expect that. Zero was actually made by Dr. Wily and ends up causing a whole bunch of trouble down the road and emerges in a totally different time period way down the line. So his origins are that of a villain, but he loses his memory at some point. He reemerges as a hero. Anyway, this movie's from 1995. It seems like, in terms of like clarity of vision and ambition, I want to say it felt more grand than Zoe. Maybe not quite so much as Jay, because they did like all the intense miniature work and stuff and the crazy opticals and stuff. But this one seems to be trying harder to tell a story than those other two movies. So time to bring you into the conversation, Levi. Hakaider, how do you want to go about it? Do you want to give us a plot rundown? I'd be very curious to hear your general feelings on it, because I actually don't know at this point.
One thing I would like to say, and we discussed this previously, the plot wise, I suppose I could give the general synopsis.
Please.
Hakaider is a man out of time. He was a weapon that was imprisoned, and he is now woken up into a world that is not his own, that is run by a despotic theocracy that essentially holds the people to task, using religious iconography and religious fervor. And it is a cyberpunk Mad Max land that is being held by these overseers. Hakaider wakes up into this world, really doesn't have a direction, and all he knows is that people are trying to stop him. Over the course of it, he ends up falling in with a resistance group, and he ends up becoming the catalyst for effectively a one-man revolution against the ruling body. So it's kind of interesting because what came to mind for this, and I'm not sure if we discussed this on the recording or after the recording, but this is very much like the Marvel comic book series Doom 2099. At least in my mind it is. So that came out in 1993. That is Victor Von Doom disappears in a puff of smoke from the 1990s and reappears 100 years later in the future in Latveria. It has been taken over by a new despot, destroys his armor and sends him off, and Dr. Doom, still pretty firmly a villain, hooks up with freedom fighters in Latveria and says, okay, it's time to take this thing down. So we have a hero, very much a villain acting in a heroic manner for his own ends. It's not because he is aligned with good. It just so happens that what the villains are doing are against his principles. And that's very much what we have here. I will say, first and foremost, this is probably my favorite one we've gone through this month.
Awesome.
It is so good. The vision overall of it is strong, it is bold, it is all-encompassing. Where Zoe and Jay take place in roughly our world, but with an added superhero coat of paint. This is somewhere else entirely. We are at some far-flung point in the future. It is equal parts Mad Max, Blade Runner, and Tatooine, where we have this combination of dress and everything else. We have unique designs for our villains. We have unique designs for the technology around us. It is a complete vision, and it sells. It's exciting. It's fun. The story is not anything groundbreaking, but it comes back to what I love so much about Zoe, is that you could watch this movie without subtitles and still understand completely what's happening. It's a visual treat. It's well built. It has great cinematography, great lighting, a ton of good music, and there are so many exclamation points in my notes.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
I had a ton of fun with this. So I suppose we could probably start at the top.
Sure.
We start with a bang, quite literally, from darkness as doors get blown open and about 8 guys rush in. And this whole scene is, we find out over the course of it that they're scavengers. They're essentially searching for treasure. They said that somewhere underneath like this prison or wherever there's like money or gold or something. And what hits you right from the get-go is the lighting and the way the camera is moving, where it has kind of this handheld quality to it, where it is it feels very deliberate, but it also feels very candid. And the other thing is the costuming, that the costuming is so thorough. And the other thing is like I said, it kind of evokes Blade Runner, it evokes Mad Max, it evokes Tatooine, but it feels very unique to this picture. You can think of things that it reminds you of, but the way everyone is dressed and the way everyone is set up feels unique. And that's what strikes me with that opening. So what do they end up finding instead, Trevor?
They find a dude. They find Scotty Dunn, chained to a wall.
Oh no, it does look like Scotty.
No, I mean the resemblance is like minor, but yes, they find Scotty Dunn chained in a basement. But actually, I likened him to Japanese Charlie Sheen.
Yes, no, that's a very good comparison.
That's not an insult, by the way. Charlie Sheen's not a bad-looking man.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, they find Scotty Dunn chained in the basement, and it is Hakaider. We learn this later. He doesn't even know this yet, but he is chained up. He has these really amazing-looking manacles, like completely covering his hands, so he doesn't even have access to his fingers or his thumbs. And he's just kneeling. He's just leaned over in like a resting position of sorts. And these treasure hunters are bummed. They did not expect to find a living human being in a vault that's been sealed for however long this has been sealed. But moreover, they're just pissed that they didn't find any treasure. And then, of course, the man wakes up, which results in a sequence that Keita Amemiya. This is. I am one of those people who really likes this. I love seeing an artist try to work something out. I love seeing an artist take multiple swings at a same image or a same idea. I like seeing that iterative process, because this sequence where he attacks these treasure hunters with that strobe effect and with that really cool push-in shot of them, like you just see them in profile firing all their weapons, and then all these flash cuts of him like lashing out at them. It's very surreal almost. And then like even his image is shifting back and forth between cuts from his human form to his armored Hakaider form, which, by the way, that costume is amazing. The sculpt on that helmet in particular, that face, that silhouette, and that grimace, that perpetual grimace he has, just it communicates so much character, even though it's completely stationary. Like it doesn't have any articulation. And yet just the body language of the suit performer communicates so much. And some of the angles of some of his postures, like somebody really cared and thought about like how we frame this guy, because like he has those pauldrons that are shifted at very particular angles when he's leaned over to just look correct. Like it's an amazing thing actually seeing somebody wear one of these kaiju suits, or however you want to put it, seeing somebody like in a casual state of rest as opposed to in performance mode, because it really does like put a soul into the thing. Like if you've seen Godzilla at rest and you've seen a Godzilla actor actually on the move on the set, it's a very different thing. Same goes for like the fellow who played the original was it Tall Chap, I think was the original alien from Ridley Scott's Alien. I seem to remember it being like Balaji Badajo or something was the name of the fella. They picked him because he was extraordinarily tall. Like he was over 7 feet tall. There's like production photos of him smoking in the suit, kind of similar to Tim Curry smoking as Pennywise the Clown, where it's just like, that is a different entity. That's not the alien. That's a guy on a smoke break. But yeah, the suit performance in this is terrific, and we'll definitely touch on that a bunch here. But
it's almost Kane Hodder-esque in the way that he carries himself and communicates so clearly through a static face.
Yeah, actually, that's a good comparison. He has a little bit of the chest heaving and the shoulder raises. Moreover, though, there's a stillness to the way that he moves. There's an exactness in the way he moves that clearly... What's really neat is I want to say it might even be the same actor as Zoe, the same suit actor. There's a clear intentionality to the performance, where Zoe is all agility and energy, and like there's a frantic, almost like animalistic quality to the way he moves. Like there's certainly like straight up just like martial arts moves that he's doing, but there's a squirreliness to the way that that lends like a frantic quality to some of the fighting in Zoe, where it has a more immediate quality to it. This, though, like his movements are so economical, and then there's these explosions of movements that it feels like he's channeling like a mechanical character as opposed to an organic one. It's really neat to see.
Yeah.
But I would like to point out, actually, the first shot of the movie is a nifty concept, and like it's just cool. Where the Toei production logo, if you're not familiar, dear listener or viewer, is waves crashing and like on the surf, and then the logo slides into frame. The first shot of the movie is the Toei logo, as you know, most movies start with production logos and stuff. And then there's a whip pan off to the left, and it shows like a matte painting, essentially. Not the best one, because this is one that was done after the movie was already completed, probably on a shoestring budget. But we actually use that shot of the surf to do like a clean transition to where the action's about to take place, and it's like this island fortress kind of, or prison facility. Yeah. And then we cut to the shot of all the treasure hunters going in there. It's neat.
It's the Indiana Jones Paramount logo thing.
Exactly, with the mountain or the stone. Yeah, it's just a clever thing that you don't have to do that, but it's really cool that somebody conceived of it and executed it. But yeah, all these guys get offed instantly. And the reason why I said that it's neat to see a director or an artist try to work things out is because Keita Amemiya has done this sequence before, almost like beat for beat. It's up for debate which version of it is better, but in the opening of Zeiram, it's in a really amazing grayscale, with this incredible texture to it, really inky blacks. And it's the character of Zeiram with his incredible silhouette just running through a bunch of soldiers who are trying to stop him from getting onto like a space, like a rocket or a pod of some sort. And it's basically the same idea as a bunch of people run afoul of exactly the wrong guy and get offed in this style of editing very, very quickly. I will note that in the version of the film that Levi and I are talking about, the director's cut, this is a bit bloodier than it was in the theatrical version. No surprise there, being as it was part of the superhero fair, which ostensibly is for kids. Title sequence, Levi. Holy shit. This guy knows how to do title sequence. This is like money. Like in terms of like storyboarding this shit, it's like, damn, that's some cool ass shit. Here, you want to tell him?
It just looks so nice. There's a part of me, if it wasn't this music, if it wasn't the music that we already have, which is already pretty good, and it carries the scenes very nicely, I would almost want Snake's suit up music from Escape from LA.
Oh, nice.
As he's walking through, because we get the title and we get the additional title, and it's him walking through as we do the quick cuts between the titles and what's happening. His motorcycle is chained up in about 100 different places with chains that extend to the walls. It's him breaking the chains on his motorcycle as we get the cast. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is the coolest. This is so dumb, but I love it.
This is cinema. It's incredible. The way the title emerges is, so we have the shot of Hakaider laying in this hallway that is lit to perfection of dead bodies. That he just killed all these fellas, and then he stands up, and just his posture leaning over is artful in and of itself. So he stands up and he muses to himself like, who am I? What the hell am I? And then Hakaider has like a cross pattern, like an off-kilter cross that seems very intentional. It's like an X pattern almost, a red X etched on his chest. And it's very clearly carved in. And the camera zooms in and it frames that X in his chest. And then they rotoscope the X on the chest and expand it with, hand-drawn animation. And then the screen fills with fire. So we go into the X. And then the fire pulls back and it emerges as the title of the film. And then the secondary titles, the Jinzo Ningen Hakaider and Mechanical Violator, go shink. And dear listener, dear viewer, there's a reason why the title I've been used, the graphic that I crafted by myself for this month's programming, is inspired by this, because holy shit, this title sequence is just money.
It's so good.
And also the timing of the cuts to the title slides, like the credit slides and the action, Kyle actually pointed this out to me. I forget on what occasion, but like what he was actually referencing. But this style of rhythm, he always thinks of Alien 3. And I'm like, oh shit, you're right. That is how the opening of that one worked, where it's like it's flashes of what's happening on the Sulaco, and then credits slide, and then back to more flashes, and it has this like staccato rhythm to it. That this one's cleaner for sure, but it's that cutting back and forth between new visual information and the credits that has a really infectious quality to it. It really speaks to me. I like that rhythm. Ghost in the Shell, also the animated film from this year, from 1995, I believe, also has that rhythm as well, where we have the lovely imagery of the cyborg being crafted, and then credits, and then cut back and forth between those.
Kevin Smith's Clerks also.
Kyle would actually get that reference. He's actually a much bigger Kevin Smith guy than I am. I should mention that to him, because it's been a while, I think, since he and I have talked about Clerks. I've only seen that movie exactly once. We reviewed it for the podcast because that was when I watched Clerks finally. Never saw the sequels though. I heard that third one gets
neither
weird.
Have I.
Yeah. Anyway, so the director's cut follows with a scene that exists only in this cut of the film. So the theatrical doesn't have the scene, but we wipe to like a map painting of a city or a facility of some sort, and there's a man running with a suitcase of some sort, or he has a case in his hand, and there's all these really neat shots of crows. Crows are a recurring motif in Keita Amemiya's, not even his just across his artwork. He actually has a book named after crows. It's called Karasu, means crow. So he seems to have a fascination with their iconography or their silhouette or something. He likes crows. He thinks they're neat. And this man gets cornered by a bunch of soldiers. And I will note that they're wearing different uniforms than the other soldiers in the rest of the film, although those soldiers, I guess, are supposed to be like the heavy soldiers. These ones are just like government workers, basically. They shoot some smoke grenades at him, and there's that gnarly strobe effect that I don't like. It's not quite slow motion. It's just frames are missing, essentially, to simulate slow motion. It's supposed to be dreamlike or ethereal, as far as I understand. The soldiers run in on him, and he's going to shoot himself for some reason. But then he is stopped. He is interrupted as the character of Michael, or Mikhail, however you want to put it. Japanese is a funny language when it comes to phonetic translations of things. It could be either or. The design of Michael is very intentionally supposed to be an opposite of Hakaider, where he's like pseudo-angelic. His primary colors are like silver and white, with a touch of gold here and there. Whereas Hakaider's design comes from the 1970s, by the way, but this iteration of it is entirely redone by Keita Amemiya to great effect. Actually, I have visual aid. I actually have this called a MOOC. It's a magazine book. So think of like a magazine, but with like harder binding, like trade paperback binding. So this is actually a sketch done by the director himself, kind of similar to like Guillermo del Toro. He does his own design work, and then people come in and they craft the actual live props for it. This is Michael, and I can actually show you, because I think this might actually be fun for you, what the original 1970s Hakaider looked like.
I would love to know. Okay. I understand that.
Yeah, so you see it, where the placement of the yellow lines and his yellow fingertips is the same. He has a gun. It's not necessarily a shotgun, it's just a gun. And also he has like a brain capsule on top of his head.
And the pauldrons and everything. Yeah. This is the like classic Silver Age design compared to the gritty 80s redesign.
Yeah, this is the Dark Knight Returns of Hakaider. Yeah, and it's clearly the same design template, but just given a new coat of paint, and I want to say perfected.
It's Adam West to Michael Keaton.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Michael comes in. He stops this guy from killing himself, and he introduces himself to this fella. Basically, he tells him, like, we can't have that. Like, we can't have you killing yourself. But he introduces himself as the one who keeps law and order in whatever place this is. This is immediately followed up by kind of just a cute scene. It doesn't really contribute anything important, but it's Hakaider at like a checkpoint to the town. So he's rolling into town, and there's a checkpoint, and there's a fellow that's like, yo, you need your papers in order. And Hakaider, needs to be said, Scotty Dunn has no lines in this movie. It's only when he's in his Hakaider form, actually, when he's in his armored form, that he has dialogue. And the voice actor for him is very good. Very prolific in the tokusatsu genre. The voice actor for Michael is like insanely prolific in the world of anime. He's not a fellow that I know off the top of my head, but their names are Dai Matsumoto does the voice for Hakaider, and Kazuhiko Inoue does the voice for Michael. So if there are any fans of Kazuhiko Inoue listening to the podcast, you're in the right place. But yeah, Hakaider just blows through this checkpoint. He just completely disregards anything this guy has to say, and there's a nifty effect where we see that like the entry point is actually like electrified, and if not for the fact that he is Hakaider, he probably would have been disintegrated. And then there's that cute bit where this is also an excuse to remove the chains from his bike. I like when directors find excuses for continuity things like that, where it's like, well, he's got a bunch of chains on his bike. We need to find a way to get those off of him. It just doesn't look right, you see. It's like, it's not clean. So the electric fence basically burns those off of the bike, which leads to another new scene, which actually is an instance of taking a scene that does exist in the theatrical cut and just repositioning it. So basically, this is just an introductory scene showing us, wait for it, Jesus Town.
It's Jesus Town.
It's Jesus Town, you see.
On its third anniversary.
The third anniversary of Jesus Town. At the nightlife of Jesus Town. So the Papa nightlife of Jesus Town. I'm sure they get down. So this like just like pan, this lazy pan or dolly shot through the streets. The entire town is represented essentially by a single alley, which is fine. When the props and the costuming are this good, you can put your blinders up to details like that. All of this is in the theatrical cut. It's just it's now shown at night. It's shown much earlier in the movie, which is a good way to introduce us to the venue. And we're also introduced to the rebels prior to seeing them in action. And it's not a whole lot. It's just like, here are some people whose attire differs radically from everybody else. Even their color palette is black when everyone else is dressed in white. They stand out. They seem like punk rockers. And then we see that there's a news report about Hakaider. So Scotty Dunn's rolling in on his bike. Hide your kids, hide your wife.
And let me tell you, it is we see a little bit of the Mad Max type influence in that same sort of shot. Like as we're speeding away and we see the road fly by us, like he comes up faster. It's that very. I mean, they use it in pretty much all the Mad Max films of the Interceptor coming towards the camera. So we have one of those of Hakaider rolling up and taking freaking howitzer rounds to the face as he's driving. And
right in the dome.
Just doesn't. And he takes one right in the dome, and we get kind of a Terminator-esque Arnold, like we can see a bit of the metal skull. And then the screen shatters, breaks apart. We see his internals, like we see the heart beating and like a few other different effects. And then we see Scotty's face, and it's overtaken by vines, and his hands are overtaken by vines, and then we see him in the full armor. And this is like a 30, 40... It's like... It's like a 30 or 45 second break of narrative for this transformation sequence. It looks bananas. But so he's back on the bike and he takes out his Doom super shotgun, the best shotgun ever to exist ever, the only shotgun. He takes it out and with one shot blows open the front gates. These enormous, like 30-foot high gates, and just blows them inward and rolls into town.
Sorry, Levi. But there's so many sequences in this movie that from like a storyboarding and clarity of vision standpoint, it's just or it's like that transformation sequence is somebody knew exactly what they wanted to do, and every shot is planned and coordinated and executed so well. Or even the insertions of the VHS static, like the CRT static in between cuts when like we cut to that shot of the mechanical heart and stuff. It's like, and even like the music drops out and there's the heartbeat sound and then the crackling of the static and then cut to the next shot. It's like, fuck, man, like this guy got it. Like he gets it. And it's simple reverse photography, but that shot of like the vines or the wires extending onto his hands and onto his face. Clearly it's just reverse photography, but combination of the sound effects and the prop design just sells the fuck out of it. And even the CGI for 1995 Japanese CGI, that glass shattering effect is done pretty well.
Pretty nice.
It looks pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. I love this sequence. It's a tremendous transformation sequence. There's a couple of references here that are not explicit, but it feels like maybe there was like some mutual inspiration or something. Do you know director Shinya Tsukamoto? He did the Tetsuo movies. I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah, the Iron Man.
Yeah, Tetsuo the Iron Man, and there's I think 3 of those movies. Not a super prolific filmmaker, but hugely impactful. His visual design, his editing is like anarchic, like crazy bullshit. Very, very, very well respected. I think he and Keita Amemiya are buddies, actually, because I could be wrong, but I think Shinya Tsukamoto may have been like an actor in some of his stuff. He does that. He's one of those directors who pops up as an actor in other people's stuff, kind of like a David Lynch or something. Anyway, this whole sequence, the transformation sequence, the wires very much made me think of those Tetsuo movies. And by extension, I know this was an explicit reference. Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Levi. No one's favorite. Dream Child. Have you seen this? Are you familiar with this?
It's been many years.
Okay. There is an explicit reference to the Tetsuo films in the form of like maybe some of the best effects work in the whole movie. There's a character who gets fused to a motorcycle that goes increasingly faster and faster and faster and faster. The director is the same fellow who did Predator 2. And he was a comic book artist. He's Australian. He has made it very publicly known. He's into Japanese animation, into Japanese art in general. I believe he has gone on record saying that was an explicit reference to Shinya Tsukamoto's work. So this one just feels in the same. It has a similar flavor. It's not anywhere near the same thing. Nobody's ripping anyone off. It's just an instance of me saying like, "Hey, that reminded me of that." It's my Cup from Transformers moment. It's like, hey, you want to know what this reminded me of? No, Cup, I don't, but whatever.
You're gonna tell me anyway.
You're gonna tell me anyway, Cup. Story time. Let's hear about those petrol rabbits again.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hakaider blows
the good part.
Yeah, so swoop on good part. Hakaider blows the miniature gate. Lovely little miniature. That turret is really nifty. I love that. And we cut to fireworks. I think this scene also exists in the theatrical cut, but is placed differently in this director's cut. So you have fireworks celebrating the 3rd anniversary of Jesustown, you see. It's a very important day. And we are introduced to our antagonist, Gurdjieff. Not an easy word to say. Gurdjieff. And Michael is also here. He's also here. And we're in our white chamber, our very starkly white chamber. And Gurdjieff is popping a boner for a flower. And he catches wind of the fact that Hakaider is coming because he receives a report on a series of monitors he has. And he calls in the, quote, heavy troops to fight Hakaider. Yeah. And Mikhail drones on about serving justice and whatnot. Levi, do you have something to contribute?
I mean, it's during this scene that it's the religious iconography is made very, very clear. Because the thing is that what we have is, at least from their angle, we have a benevolent dictator. We have somebody where, again, this is a theocracy, where this is being run in such a way where it's like, this is towards justice, this is towards fairness, this is, we keep good order here, like we need to, like things have to be this way. Like this isn't like this isn't a 1984 style government. It's where it is a face, a boot in a human face forever. It's like this is more of a tyrannical theocracy where our lead is very specifically like, this is Jesus sound. But he sees himself as God. He sees himself as a benevolent God, merely looking after his children, merely being a shepherd in this very tough world. But we need justice and we need order. That's why we have Michael. I referred to him in my notes as Mech Angel Michael.
Mech Angel Michael.
Well, it's like it's over the Archangel Michael. So that is very consistent in the iconography and the way that these characters speak, is that they are very much the heroes of their own stories. They are doing this because the poor little lambs don't know how to do it themselves. So, and Hakaider is a professed instrument of destruction. So as he is rolling in, he has a villainous role and a villainous iconography against our more angelic, righteous roles and iconography. But it's shown in subsequent scenes that it's their way of shepherding their flock is so brutal and dehumanizing and shackling that it can't stand.
Yeah.
So and we cut from this scene to let me explain what I wrote in my notes. We cut to slow-mo fairy woman chained to the tree of pain, freed by Black Knight defeating Angel Mummy.
No notes. Yeah, that is exactly what happens. I like the parallels established in this dream sequence. I really like that they deliver on delivering. They deliver on establishing the meaning of all the imagery in these dream sequences. It's pretty deliberate. Like there's not too much room for interpretation. Some the presentation elements of it don't entirely work for me at times. Not gonna lie, sometimes the fairy costuming and the way she's framed feels like, goth boyfriend and goth girlfriend go on a photo shoot at the beach. It's just the prop work and the costuming and the way she's framed just isn't as tight as some of the other stuff in the movie, but the imagery is there, the symbolism is there, it works in the narrative very, very well. Basically what we have here is we have a woman who's shackled to a dying tree. Angel Jesus mummy pops up and is slain by a black knight who then cuts her bindings. So it's like, put a pin in that. All of this will make sense, and probably already does make sense to you, the viewer, given the pieces that are on the board already at this point. It's very economical, and it delivers. Like I can't emphasize that enough. That this doesn't feel needless. Like this is here for a reason. It makes sense.
It's not subtle. No. But it is effective. It is very effective at what it is. It is very clear on what this scenario is. The angel is dead, the tree is dead, and it is a menace to what it is, so we need a black knight. So we have this kind of Hakaider is a neo-Western.
Yeah, it is.
It has the black hat gunslinger comes into town to bring law and order and justice from a despot.
Yeah, and the main thing to keep in mind is that, I mean, Levi already spelled this out pretty well. Like, you already fleshed this out pretty well. But the idea is that the order and justice that is being transposed onto the people of Jesus Town is defined by these people, independent of the public's involvement. And Hakaider, as we'll learn very shortly, his moral compass is based around free will, where the biggest affront to him is a person who has no agency. Like there's a nameless drone soldier that he has a brief exchange with, where they try to beg for their life and say, "Oh, I was just following orders," and he's like, "Well, that doesn't work for me, brother." like the fact that you had no agency or will of your own makes you continuing to live seem pointless to me.
Yeah, he's holding him by the throat in front of him, and he says, "If you have no will of your own, there's no reason for you to live."
Yeah, and that seems to be his ethos, and which is why characters like Gurdjieff and Michael, why he's in opposition to them. It's because they're robbing people of that, as we learn later.
Which I did a little bit of reading on the background, the background of the show.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw from the show, Hakaider existed and was programmed and created exclusively to fight Hakaider, our lead. So there is a portion of time in the show, apparently, where Hakaider is seemingly defeated and destroyed, and Hakaider loses his doggone mind because his entire purpose for being has been removed. His entire purpose. He was programmed, this is everything that he was supposed to do is defeat him. And now he wasn't even the one who did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, this drives him nuts. So from a perspective of, if we are taking this as a bit of a spin-off, you could easily say that is a galvanizing moment for this character, that he knows what it's like to have his will and his destiny defined by somebody else, and it nearly drove him insane.
Yeah, I mean, you could take that for a walk and say that maybe that's what drove him into hibernation. It's like he hit that wall so hard that just put him out of his mind and into that vault. Because we're never given an explanation as to exactly how he found his way there. But yeah, we're introduced to Kaoru, who is a young woman who is part of some sort of rebel faction against Gurdjieff and Michael, and she is waking from a dream. Everything that we were just talking about, the angel and the Jesus mummy zombie, and the Black Knight, that was her dream. She wakes from that, and she and her crew enact a truck heist. Basically, they rob a shipment of some sort, seemingly like money or plates for manufacturing bills.
From a 1930s box truck?
Yeah, that seems like a deliberate choice, perhaps. Something that's neat about Keita Amemiya is his props and his costuming. There's an attention to detail that I always really appreciate, because it's all this like minutia. It's all this kind of stuff where it's like, what? Most people probably wouldn't care that much about this thing, but I talked about this last week too. There's a key that they use to open the vault where Hakaider is in the opening of the movie, and it's this like triangular, slightly like cylindrical device with a light embedded in it. It's this not even over designed, but just carefully designed thing that looks unique. I've never seen a key that looks like that or functions like that. And some of the heavy guards have grenades in this movie. That they're on camera for like seconds and barely even in close up. But if you look at the details of it, it's like, holy shit, like that is a prop. That's a prop and a half. And I've often called like the aesthetic of like some of the costuming in this movie in particular, sci-fi via hot glue gun. Because you can, it has that handcrafted quality to it where it's like, yeah, somebody just like took a bunch of like vacuum cleaner parts and like hot glued it to Scotty Dunn's shoulders. Like that's how we got the Hakaider jacket.
Yeah, it kind of has like the that Borg quality.
Yeah, stick some things on things, and if we put enough texture and visual noise in there, it conveys heaviness and a mechanical quality that there's no real detail there. There's like nothing to like examine and actually understand how it functions, but it lends quality to it somehow. But yeah, they take out this truck. It's all done in one take, probably very economically. There's some pyrotechnics involved too. So like from a planning standpoint, that's a sign of good direction, good structuring. And then we get a extended sequence of Hakaider doing battle with the heavy troops on motorcycles, and
it
great.
Is so cool.
Yeah.
There's a particular shot, and I'm like, what we got, I'm more than happy with. But there was a part of me that was kind of hoping so we have the heavy troops on their motorcycles. There's like 6 of them driving straight out towards Hakaider. And they're outside the gates at this point. So it's jet black all around them, and they're in their all white uniforms, and they're driving toward him. And then we just have Hakaider on his side, and it's his black armor. So we're really only getting like edges and silhouettes. And what I wanted was, I'm like, I want Hakaider to have some sort of blunt weapon, and I want him to joust them. Please. Because, like, what came to mind with that setup was the Clone Wars Limited series that they did. The 2D one. There's a phenomenal sequence where it's Obi-Wan and the clones fighting a army of droids, and they have like this big heavy, this bounty hunter at the front, and it's a full-on jousting scene of like all of them have these like explosive laser lances, and they drop, and it's just madness. It is amazing. It is so freaking cool. But it's what I thought of with this. I'm like, come on. We don't get that, but what he does is he drives straight into them and grabs one of the riders by the neck and drags him probably about a quarter of a mile. And that's how the sequence starts, and it just goes from the gates into the city itself, and there's people being thrown off the bikes, there's bikes exploding, there's like getting onto a highway overpass, and he gets off and he jumps off the side of the rail, and this guy's coming from this side, and they cross each other in the air, and I couldn't write it all down fast enough, so I just wrote stunts with an exclamation point.
Stunts!
Things!
Yeah, no, this is terrific. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I like that you can tell our stunt team is probably having a good time dreaming all this stuff up, because
they are putting in the work.
they're putting in work, and literally every single one of these guys that gets dispatched eats shit in a different way. So it's like, it's not repetitive. And just the variety in the way that these bikes get tipped over and get thrown into things, and all the pyrotechnics involved, it's terrific. Like, especially for like a young person watching this is how you maintain their interest, is show me bike stunts and show me explosion, show me them in variety, and I'll stick around. So the bike chase comes to a head, and Hakaider, and we have like convergence essentially. So the rebels with Kaoru, they head into like this empty lot essentially, and it just so happens that Hakaider also arrives there. So we have a convergence of our two parties, and there's a few more bike stunts here. I love the bit where he uses his shotgun as a blunt instrument to clothesline.
Yes,
that was pretty cool. And then we have this amazing sequence where he casually pulls out his shotgun and he fires it, and he blows two fellas' heads off because they're standing in a line, you see. So they both have their heads exploded, but their heads explode into feathers. And it's like this like bonkers like artistic thing where it's like, okay, but then they actually make it make sense, where their heads explode into feathers, and then we cut to Kaoru like reacting to presumably watching two men's head explode. But like through the artistry of it, it's conveyed via these white feathers. And then we have this shot that pulls out of Hakaider brandishing his shotgun, and he kind of like holds it up as one would a sword for a moment, and then drops it, and the music goes kind of like ethereal and dreamy, and then we're cutting back and forth between him and Kaoru, and the idea here is that she's seeing the Black Knight transposed onto Hakaider, where she's like, oh, because the zombie Jesus mummy had white wings attached to its head and had feathers streaming off of it. So basically she's seeing this Black Knight figure as like a person who could potentially fell the figure in her mind who is represented by that zombie Jesus mummy. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, two men's head just exploded, and I'm happy about it. However, she's interrupted because a couple of the soldiers, they have submachine guns that they use throughout the movie that are wildly ineffectual. However, they have these stun batons, these electrified stun batons that do seem to work a little bit. Not super well, but enough. So there's this cool shot where it's just like Hakaider's feet, and then there's a cool music cue where one of the guards like leaps into frame and like whacks him in the shin with one of these stun rods. And there's just like a brief moment of tension where it seems like, oh, these are effective on him, but oh wait, he's really, really, really strong. so he kind of takes care of business pretty quick. But this is where that dialogue exchange happens that Levi had mentioned. But if you don't have a will to live, then there's no point in you continuing to live. And we cut back to Gurdjieff, and he learns that not only is there an intruder, but it's specifically Hakaider, and there's familiarity between these two. He seems to know him, though the beginning of the movie suggests Hakaider doesn't have a memory, so he obviously wouldn't remember him the other way around. Question, Levi. Gurdjieff, how'd you feel about his acting?
It is clear the actor is having a lot of fun with this. It works with the kind of psychotic Caligula-esque priest angle that he's going for. Like, it worked for me. It never took me out of the film. I wouldn't say it's traditionally good. I mean, it's here's the thing. You can see the scenery between his teeth. It's clear that the guy is just having a ball doing this. I think it works in the picture. I didn't find it distracting.
Okay. I was just curious because I actually finally did a bit of research on this because I've always been curious. So this actor is not an actor. He is a musician. His name is Yasuaki Honda. And actually, on that subject, I need to roll us back to Kamen Rider Zo for just a moment because it occurred to me, we didn't mention it at all, but Professor Dad in that, in Kamen Rider Zo, was played by a fellow by the name of Isao Sasaki, who was also a musician, also a singer, did a lot of theme songs for tokusatsu shows. He had amazing voice, did a lot of great work, but also doubled as an actor, did a lot of acting, but mostly known as like the singer for like tons of anime and tons of tokusatsu theme songs and stuff. So that's a musician in that movie. Here we have this fella, Yasuaki Honda, who was part of a band called The Toys. Actually kept digging. I just kept digging because I was very curious. Like, what the fuck is this guy's deal? I listened to some of his music. It's not really my taste. I listened to a decent amount of Japanese music. Quite a lot, in fact. Not really my taste. They actually do some like rockabilly kind of stuff that works better. That actually worked for me pretty well. But then the 80s happened. The late 80s happened. And new wave happened. And they started to trend more in that direction. And you can kind of tell from his look that like there's a lot of like visual elements, a lot of like music video and fashion elements that were probably more important than any of the music he and his band were producing, honestly. It's just the nature of things in the 80s, unfortunately. That stuff didn't work for me so well. The rockabilly stuff, actually, I was like, it's kind of fun. I like that. But anyway, the reason why I did all that, wasted all that time, did all that digging, is because I've seen this movie a lot. Maybe even as many times as I've seen Kamen Rider Zo. And I like it quite a lot as well. But he has always stood out to me as like, there's something weird about this guy. Because again, I understand enough Japanese that when I listen to this man speak, I'm like, is he like foreign or something? like I was like, he talks funny. Like his Japanese is like his pronunciation, his emphasis goes on some funny syllables. And I was like, is he foreign? Is he like half Japanese, or is he like actually from a different country and like Japanese is a second or third language for him or something? No, he just talks funny. and he's not an actor. So I suspect he was probably just kind of like doing things that were asked of him, kind of. Where it's just like, say the line like this, say it slow because there's kids in the audience or something like that. But yeah, his pronunciation and the pacing of his speech is truly bizarre to me and always will be, apparently.
Yeah, it's one of those things for me where because I'm not familiar with Japanese as a language at all. It's just not. It's one of those things where I've toyed with it. I've toyed with the idea of like, maybe I should learn a little bit. But what struck me about it is it has almost this. It's the measured kind of poetic quality. Again, it's Caligula. There's I, Claudius is a wonderful, incredible miniseries about the first handful of emperors of Rome. And John Hurt plays Caligula in that. Ooh. And he has kind of this, like, he kind of goes back and forth between kind of this manic energy, but also having sort of this almost dreamy, like, way of carrying himself, and you wouldn't hurt the emperor, would you? It's this sort of like, it's sort of this strange pace of speaking that's kind of dreamy, that's kind of like, it's clear that he sees himself as God, that he's taking his own time. Like, that's kind of what it reminded me of, where I'm like, this guy isn't speaking in the same pace and with the same emphasis as everyone else, but I think it's because he's at a point where he has absolute power and does not care. I took it as a character choice and not just, this guy's weird.
I think you're right, actually. Now that you put it in those terms, it does have the manner of a person who is beyond everything else. Kind of, basically, as you phrased, taking his own time. Like, I'm speaking at my own pace because I wait on no one. So yeah, I could totally see that as well. It was just a weird tangent I needed to take us on because it's been bothering me since the first time I watched this movie. It's like there's something about the way this man speaks that just puts me on my heels. I don't quite know what to make of it. But yeah, we cut back to Hakaider, and he finishes off the rest of the guards. And there's this amazing beat, just a moment where a fella squirrels away and picks up Hakaider's shotgun, and he's like, "Ha!" It's like the penguin in Batman Returns getting his noisemaker thing that controls the penguins, and he's like, "Ha!" It's like I don't think it matters anymore, buddy. And the fella cocks the shotgun and fires it, misses, and also the force of the rapport is so strong it blows his arm off.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And then Mr. T arrives because a battle van rounds the corners, and it has a turret mounted on it. There's a thing I've noticed with a lot of Japanese media, and particularly from this vintage. I think like their self-defense force and their firearm regulations were such that things like military hardware and guns were and are difficult to acquire for film production, perhaps. Because I've noticed they have a ton of action movies that have come out over like forever in Japanese cinema, but their guns always look phony, such that I think that they straight up are. Such that I think maybe it's just a thing where like there's a regulation or something that prevents them from acquiring like legitimate firearms. And same goes with like military hardware. It's like unless there's like a really strong connection to the self-defense force or something, they don't often seem to have access to military hardware.
Yeah, it's kind of a straight, like the submachine guns they're using this, I want to say are real, like they're real models. Like it's kind of a funky looking design, but it's like I feel like I've seen those somewhere else.
It's a FNP-90. It's a French submachine gun that is a real weapon, but I want to say it might be a airsoft gun that's been loaded with like fireworks or pyrotechnics of some sort to simulate muzzle fires or muzzle.
Yeah, and that was kind of my understanding of it, that it's just like this doesn't feel like a real gun, but it is. You want to know? This may be too much of a deep cut. You want to know what else this kind of reminds me of? Just like the costuming and the way everything is set up. It reminds me of the OVA Dominion Tank Police.
It's a fun one from a bygone era. Haven't seen it in a while.
I love Dominion Tank Police. I'm not an anime guy. Like this isn't like not really my area at all. I freaking love Tank Police. And it's like sort of the costuming and this sort of thing reminds me of that. Also, just the sheer amount of turrets. There's a lot of turrets in this movie.
A lot of turrets. No cat girls, but a lot of turrets.
No cat girls, lots of turrets. That's a quote for the front of the box. But yeah, so there's like a dozen guys and also this battle van with a big turret on top of it. And with like one shot, two shots, Hakaider destroys it, it explodes, and defeats all of them. To which I quickly wrote in my notes, super shotgun, ! Fight a dozen men, !
This super shotgun can fight a dozen men at a time.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good. So with all of them dead and defeated, Hakaider and the rebels escape. They get out of there, which leads to Michael going down amongst the soldiers. And it's at this point you're like, okay, we don't really know what to make of Michael. We don't really know what to make of him because the first time we see him is him keeping that guy from suicide. So we're like, is this guy kind of like he's an enforcer, but you know, he is legitimately trying to keep the peace, where it's clear that his boss is insane. Like he was kind of like taken into this and he's just like, listen, I'm just trying to keep him on a leash. Mm-hmm. Or it's like, what's this guy's deal? So Michael goes out amongst the soldiers, and there's like this really kind of crazy beat of like, there's just carnage. And all of these guys are like horribly maimed and burned. And he sees one of the soldiers and his eyes are open, and he very gingerly leans down and closes his eyes. And you're like, interesting. So like, what is this character? Like, this is an interesting kind of moment. Like, and again, it keeps you on your toes of like, who is this guy? And then a soldier who managed to survive like is limping, and he's like, Michael, I'm still alive, I'm here. And Michael's like, why didn't you die with the rest of them? If you were truly one of my men, you would have stood your ground and died. And then Michael puts his hand through his face, and his face gushes blood all over Michael's faceplate.
Yeah.
It is the most explicitly, insanely gory effect of the film.
Yeah, in addition to the ah sound, I also have
Jesus! I wrote in all caps, holy hell, just in my... It's like, oh God, why?
This scene isn't in the theatrical cut, by the way.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, again, that was shown to children, so the most explicitly violent moment in the movie is only in the director's cut. But it's useful because it, as you say, like taking all the information we have about the character up to this point, there needs to be a turn, like an explicit turn at some point. And in the theatrical cut, you don't really get that. But in this director's cut, this is the moment where it's like, oh, he bad. Like he bad Angel Man.
Well, because I mean, if we use the alignment chart idea,
yeah,
what we know of Michael is that he is lawful. And you're waiting, and you're like, lawful, neutral. Like, is he a neutral? Lawful, good. Oh, lawful evil. Yeah. Like it's the Judge Dredd speech from America. It's like, rights. Sure, I believe in rights, but not at the expense of order. It is a again, he is a benevolent dictator. And this scene really kind of sets that idea that it's like, oh, he doesn't care about these. He is justice without mercy.
Yeah, it effectively delivers on that messaging and makes that very concrete. In addition to that, it doubles as an exhibition of his abilities, where it's like, oh, he has a glowy hand. He's got his jerk off hand that if he touches your face, it melts. So it shows off his arsenal in addition to his intention. By the way, the battle van did injure Hakaider.
Yes,
it did shoot him. It's a pretty cool sequence where it hits him through a wall. We get this nifty graphic effect of showing it like have X-ray targeting of some sort or infrared or something. And then nifty pyrotechnic of a man on a wire getting blown the fuck away. Happens a lot to this fella in this movie.
A lot.
So he is carted off by the rebels, who Kaoru kind of leads the charge in terms of like deciding to save him, deciding to unite with him. So he awakes. He is unconscious though, and unconscious. His arm is exposed, and he has a Luke Skywalker arm now. Which it's weird because in no version of this film is this effectively communicated, but it seems to be the case that the rebels repaired his arm for him or something.
Yeah, he has a see-through acrylic arm. He has a see-through acrylic hand. Yeah,
I call it Luke Skywalker hand, see-through acrylic hand. In no version of this film is that effectively communicated. In this version, actually, in the director's cut version, they say nothing about it. They acknowledge it in no way.
All they say is like calm down, don't move too much, like, you know, we're almost finished. That's it. That's essentially all that we get. So it is communicated that okay, they fixed him.
Yeah.
I guess
it's not the Junkians fixing Ultra Magnus. It's
no. They don't speak TV.
Yeah, these rebels don't speak TV. Maybe that's why he doesn't talk. Maybe that's why Scotty Dunn doesn't talk. It's because they're not talking about Green Acres or something. He's like, I don't speak your language. I speak Bewitched. I speak TV Land. But yeah, in the theatrical version, I think there's an additional line of ADR in there where they spray the skin on his hand and they tell him to like hold still, let us finish or something. So it's weird. It's like I call it the Godzilla 1984/85 effect. It's like there's no perfect cut of a movie. It's like if you took the changes of one and if you selectively took the changes of one cut and transposed them onto the other, in my mind, you would have the perfect cut of the movie. But as it stands, they are two separate things. That's my relationship to this movie. Is that the theatrical cut does have some merits that this one lacks.
I feel the same way about Superman 2.
Yeah, the Dick Donner cut. Yes, I agree.
I love the Richard Donner cut so much. There are some changes that I'm like,
yeah, I agree. Neither version is perfect, but if you took samplings of what works in one and put them together, like if you made your fan cut of those two versions, I think you would find the perfect version of it.
I've been planning on doing that. I actually sat down with the shooting scripts of both movies prior to the Salakines coming in.
Yeah.
So the idea is that Superman 1 and 2 were supposed to essentially create like a 5-hour epic. That it was supposed to be a part 1 and part 2. I sat down and I'm like, is it possible? Could I, in theory, with the material we have, make that movie and have the perfect one? And it's like I haven't had the chance to like sit down and actually do it, but there is a version of Superman 2 that you could Frankenstein together between the two cuts. But you would have to be the one to do it.
Yeah, as it stands, that does not exist. But I do think the materials are there for it to be done. So perhaps that'll happen. Yeah, Hakaider wakes up and they fix his arm. There's a fun shot in this version that's not in the theatrical cut, as far as I know. It's a POV shot of all the rebels like chewing gum, staring at him. They're all like hunched forward, and they look like a bunch of kids. They look like lost kids. They look like Beyond Thunderdome kids or something. And I think this is explicit actually, because the rebels are shown to be kind of not very good rebels in this. Honestly, no. I think you're supposed to understand that their intentions are halfway there, but their execution is intensely flawed and frankly childish in terms of their perspective on things. But yeah, I'm just going to say it. I mean, I'm looking for Sam Rockwell on this set because this very much feels like the Foot Clan lair or something. It's like regular or menthol, because these rebels are all mostly young. They're drinking, they're smoking, they're making counterfeit bills. There is no half pipe, unfortunately, for them to skateboard in, nor are there any Double Dragon arcade games. That's how you know you have failed in constructing your rebel lair. And there's a dialogue exchange. There's a fella in the group, like maybe the only one that has a name, Arnie or Andy. I'm not positive. It's muffled every time his name is said. He's got glasses, and he's kind of skeptical about having a robotman among them. He's like, yo, robots don't need food, because Kaoru offers Hakaider food and drink. And he's like, robots don't need food and drink. And Scotty Dunn shoots him a look. He's like, show you, dipshit.
Yeah. I wrote spiteful bread eating at the one white guy.
It is spiteful bread eating, because he
just does not break eye contact like
he does it just to spite him. He's probably not hungry, but he's just doing it to show him like, yo, I eat bread.
Yeah.
Shows what you know.
Yeah, the one white guy in the crew kind of looks like James Woods.
Yeah, he does. He's kind of an asshole like James Woods too.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, it's James Woods.
You traded your Sam Rockwell for James Woods. Trade up? straight down.
Listen, depends on the movie.
It really
Which
does.
James
There is
Woods
a
are we
correct
getting?
way. There is a correct way to use your James Woods, and it is by casting him as an asshole.
Yeah.
He's very, very, very good at that. Don't like Casino. That's good, James Woods.
Yeah. Videodrome.
Videodrome. Good James Woods. Any Given Sunday. Very good James Woods.
Oh, yeah.
Unscrupulous Dr. James Woods.
Once Upon a Time in America.
Also good James Woods. Cat's Eye. Cat's Eye. Good James Woods. There are mostly good James Woodses out there. Just don't ask me to like him. Don't put him in a role where I'm supposed to like him.
Yeah, I can't think of any movie that I've ever been asked to be like, yes, James Woods is a good man. It's like he's too good. He's too good at being a slimy asshole to people.
It's a talent. To quote Casey Jones, it's a talent. So yeah, spiteful eating of bread. Hakaider shoots Kaoru. Scotty Dunn has some eyes for Kaoru. He likes her belt that she has on her belt, and she notices this, of course. But she's like, "Hey, Hakaider, Robot Man, you want to join us? You want to join our? You want to join our club?" And this sequence differs, I believe, from the theatrical edition. I believe this was presented entirely from Gurdjieff's perspective in the theatrical cut and is very brief. I really like the way they handled the edit here, because Kaoru is telling Hakaider why they are rebelling against, they call it Parliament, but basically Gurdjieff. It's a sequence where we cut away to what appears to be like some sort of mental ward or asylum of some sort. And we see the man from the prologue that Michael had saved from committing suicide. He is lobotomized, essentially. He has a microchip of some sort put inside his brain. The prop design of that bed that they lay him on is really cool. But yeah, we see that he is robbed of his mental faculty. So it's a callback to that. That character didn't exist in the theatrical cut. And all of this is overlaid with narration from Kaoru explaining that Gurdjieff is robbing anybody who steps outside the bounds of Gurdjieff's imposed law and order is not taken to court. They are simply spirited away and lobotomized, essentially. So basically, everybody is robbed of their agency and turned into vegetable. And this is all narrated by her. There's an actor who pops up in here who is a staple of Keita Amemiya's filmography. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he has a recurring role in the 90s Gamera movies. He's utterly charming. I love seeing him in anything. Here, he just plays a guy that has a lobotomy, so all he's doing is playing with children's toys and drooling. But he's here. It's like, that makes me happy. I saw a guy I knew. Hey, I know that guy. But the thing that I liked about the edit here is that it starts off with Kaoru telling us this is bad, this is why we're rebelling. And again, this is all done through narration with all of this playing out in front of us visually. And then halfway through, Gurdjieff's voice takes over the narration and tells us the same things, but from his perspective. And it's really neat where it's like, it's not like I think his voice arrives before he is shown on screen. And we've already been shown him, so we know what he sounds like. It's just this neat little narrative trick where it's like we're being shown the same visual information, but the narrator has been hijacked halfway through their spiel. It's done really well, I thought. And it's unique to the director's cut. It's not in the theatrical.
Yeah, and he explains that from his perspective, he is returning their innocence. He is giving them new life. Again, it's this idea, it is this savior It is the savior complex. This is Jesus Town, after all. It's like he has returned their innocence to them. They're like children again. It's like they're uncorrupted by the world around them. These human emotions, these things that cause them to act out, I have freed them of that and given them something new. Now, again, it's horrific. And it's a horrifying like taking of their faculties and of what makes them human. But this is the perspective of our villains, and it's what kind of makes them effective. C.S. Lewis has a very interesting quote where he's like, a tyranny that is based on greed, that is based on human suffering, will eventually fall. It eventually falls in on itself. But a tyranny that is based on for your own good has much more of a capacity to go perpetually, forever. Because there will never be a moment of realization that what they're doing is wrong. Because they are thoroughly convinced of their righteousness. And that is what these people are experiencing. They are under the boot of somebody who knows that he is correct. And the actor is like, just, again, you can just see the scenery in between his teeth, that he's just pawing at the screens, and he's kind of fawning over his children, and how he saved them. And it's a creepy moment, and it works. It works well. It's very effective.
Yeah, I like the combination of the aesthetics, like the iconography of just the Black Knight figure that Hakaider represents is just such a stark opposite to the iconography of our villains. And it's neat to see the clash of ideologies, because it does have that kind of like, how dare you kind of quality to it, where it's like you shouldn't be like by the standards of our law and order society, a figure like you has no place here. The fact that you exist is an affront to like my ideology, and it's a really neat thing. It's a neat narrative trick, a neat positioning of a character, where it's like he's this wrecking ball that comes in, that is seemingly wholly necessary but was never asked for. It's this disruption that it's a unique thing. You don't see it play out in too many stories, but for what it's worth, I think it's done pretty well here. But Gurdjieff, he dumps a little bit of exposition here about Hakaider, because Michael is asking about it. It's like, who is this guy? How do you know him? Gurdjieff explains that Hakaider is a lethal robot from a different time, like from a time in which we needed such things, but he views him as a mistake. He views him as like a choice, a path that they took at a different time that they are no longer pursuing. So he was meant to be destroyed, but apparently was spirited away by some scientists who had rebellious sentiments, and was hidden away beyond Gurdjieff's purview. And he refers to Hakaider as like a ghost. He's a thing that should not be. He's a thing that should have been eliminated. It's like a phantom haunting us. And he only kills, he only destroys. That's what his purpose is. I mean, it's his fucking name. And but Michael kind of has a like almost like a soliloquy to himself. It's just like a couple of lines where he basically says like, I'm superior to Hakaider, or he views himself ideologically as an evolution or a progression of where Hakaider comes from. But yeah, so what comes next? I lost my notes for a second.
The resistance is ambushed.
Yeah, so this is where I was almost expecting this to be a Total Recall moment or a Matrix moment. It almost feels like it should be, where there's an interloper or something, or there's somebody who betrays the group that somehow like reveals the location of the rebel hideout or something. But no, the heavy guards and Michael, they just find them and they shoot the fuck out of them.
I just have to assume these rebels suck.
I think that's the point. Like, that's how I read it, is that I think these rebels have good intentions, but that's all they have.
Well, and just prior to this, essentially all of the rebels are going back and forth. They're like, yeah, you know, they're taking everything from us. They're ruining our lives, and we don't like them. And then they start talking about, well, and when we take him out, then we get to be in charge. We get to have the power. And Hakaider like chastises them and is like, you're no different. Mm-hmm. None of you are any different from them because you're all just power hungry. You don't care about free will. You don't care about that. And it's like they're revealed to be not only incompetent, but they're also misguided. They're like, the fact of the matter is that they still want to execute their will over others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very effective moment where it starts off innocent, like they're talking about like, what are we going to do when the fighting's over, basically, and the one woman wants to like get a ranch or something. But then it starts to veer towards what Levi was just talking about of like, oh, then we'll be in charge and we can make the rules, we can set the pace and stuff. And then Hakaider has that moment where he doesn't speak when he's in Scotty Dunn form, but he transforms in the midst of their conversation and chastises them. He condemns them, saying that you are no better than the people that you're rebelling against. And it's in the midst of this that the one white guy in the group, he holds a gun to Hakaider very foolishly. And basically he's pushing back against him, condemning him in that fashion. And before the argument can progress, he gets shot in the back. And then, oh, hey, there's a bunch of heavy troops standing on a balcony, and they just dump every round they have into that room. And we have a long sequence of all of these rebels essentially getting shot to death in sometimes very brutal fashion. Hakaider's taken out of the picture via bazooka, by the way.
Yes.
You would assume he would fight back, but he gets hit with a bazooka and goes through a wall. So he is blown out a 4th-story window, which is an insane stunt. It's not a man. It's not a dummy. It's a guy in a suit.
That's a dude being thrown out a 4th-story window with
a fireball. Like he goes. He doesn't go just straight out the window. There's a fireball that blows him out the window. It's an incredible stunt. I don't know why we needed to do that, but it's cool that he did.
Yeah, so it goes really badly for just about everyone. There is a little bit of an all is lost type moment where pretty much all the rebels die horribly. Hakaider is again blown out a 4th-story window.
Yeah, he gets shot in the dick, by the way. That second bazooka round hits him right in the pelvis.
And it's so he's sitting there covered in rubble, and after all of the soldiers are kind of looking down, they're like, well, our job here's done, and they start walking away. And the girl, who's, I feel like her name is only said once, so I didn't catch it,
is Kaoru.
So Kaoru is like, you killed him, you monsters, you killed him. And I actually, it is a perfect character beat to show the brutality of these people and the mindset of them, but it's also really funny because of how quick it is. There is a procession of probably about 15 of these soldiers that just march by, completely ignoring her, and then the very last one in the line just quickly turns and just bop, 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 and gets her and the other like wounded rebel guy, and it's just like they don't even care. Not even a threat. And it's like, it's an afterthought that it's just like, oh yeah, we should probably shut her up. We should probably kill her. Because they don't like form offensive fire. They don't all open. It's one guy, because that's all we need to do. And it's the last guy in the line just to like shut the door on the subject. It's
really effective. That moment really sticks with me, where it's like occasionally I'll like forget where I saw that beat, but like it's wildly effective because she's injured. Arnie is still alive. Actually, he like is staggered, but he's with her, and she's just watching them walk by, and then so casually, just like, and then they don't even stop to check if they actually killed him or not.
No.
It's just like shoot them, they're down, and then they keep walking, and then she calls out to them. She's like, you fuckers, you killed him. And then they stop for a moment, but seemingly it's mostly because Michael shows up, not really because they're listening to her, but it's just because their commanding officer or whatever just showed up.
Yeah, there's the beat, completely different film, and not even a film I would specifically recommend just because of how unpleasant it is. It reminds me of Dragged Across Concrete.
Good movie.
Did you? It's the bank robbery where they all have like the mechanical voice box and that sort of thing. Just the casualness of like, and we'll kill you, and we'll kill you horribly, and we will have no expression, and it doesn't even matter. It's like these people are meat; they're just obstacles. It is such an inhuman way to deal with it. But the thing is that it's so quick. It's so quick, it almost kind of got a pop out of me, like, holy shit. Just because of, again, it is an inhuman way of dealing with an adversary, that it's just like they're meat.
Yeah, it's just a complete disregard for their humanity that just makes it chilling. Speaking of Dragged Across Concrete, S. Craig Zoller, I think is the name of the writer/director. I haven't heard a peep from him in a really long time, but I've watched all his stuff, and he's talented. Like, he makes good stuff. Too long. Dragged Across Concrete and Brawl in Cell Block, was it 99?
Yeah.
Both too long.
Didn't he do Bone Tomahawk as well?
That was like his first big one, as far as I know. I think all three of those, I think that's it.
Yeah, the biggest problem is like the guy's a great filmmaker. It's just his movies are too long. They're just too doggone long. It's like they don't need to be that long.
They're too long, and as far as I know, he's also a novelist, and he's also in a band, so he may be spread very thin. And also, seems like maybe obtaining financing might be difficult for him. Like, I'm not sure if he has the right friends in the right places. But anyway, yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, he's made like 3 movies, and I've liked them all. It's just they're very, very long.
Yes.
But yeah, I've liked all of his movies, for what it's worth. But yeah, Michael rolls in, and I think there might actually be a difference here between the theatrical cut and the director's cut, and one that I actually favor the theatrical cut a little bit. Because if memory serves, the way this plays out is Michael, he steps into the room, and then the soldiers make like a line for him. Basically, they form like a procession almost, and then he steps up to Kaoru, and he glowy hands her, and then we cut away. But I disagree with that, because we were just shown that the glowy hand is exceptionally lethal, messy and lethal. It's not like, the torture. It's not the interrogation droid from Star Wars or something. It's like, this is a glowy claw hand that went into a man's face the last time we saw it, and now we see him reaching towards a very small young woman's face. And it's like, you can't cut away from that and then have her be all right. like either she'll be intensely scarred or dead. I think in the theatrical cut, it's just that she was shot, and then she bleeds out or something, presumably as a result of the gunshot wound. But yeah, hard cut from him reaching out with his glowy hand attack, and then we get that strobe effect again, and it's actually used pretty effectively here, because it's her on the streets of Jesus Town. And she's wearing black, and actually she has the Bret Hart colors, black and pink. She's just like Bret the Hitman Hart. And she's walking among the populace, and overwhelmingly the motif for the Jesus Town attire is white. And by the way, something Keita Amemiya has a penchant for is glyphs. He's really into glyphs. I actually have an entire art book of just glyphs, like calligraphy stuff that he's done in non-traditional script. Like, it's not actual language; it's just symbols evocative of language. Yeah, he has a thing for that. Like, he's a perv for for glyphs. And there's a Jesus Town glyph there's an iconography that's on a lot of the objects and the background. So it's that attention to detail that we all appreciate. but she's condemning the populace for their inaction and for she keeps reiterating, you let him die, like you killed him. Very Jesus-y, honestly. And she's about to pass out, and nobody's helping her. Everybody's just paying her no mind, just like making it not my problem. She's about to pass out, and she falls backwards, and then, oh, hey, it's Scotty Dunn. And he catches her before she falls. And as he's bracing her, keeping her upright, she asks him for a favor. Cut to the outdoors, the great outdoors. Before that, like Levi said, there's a bit of a Mad Max thing going on with the terrain where it feels like a post-apocalypse almost. But here, it's like an oasis. It's a stream. It's beautiful. The sun is shining. And apparently this is like a place that she goes to. It's like her favorite place in the Jesus Town area, I guess.
It's a suburb of Jesus Town?
It's a suburb of Jesus Town.
It's Peter Town?
Sure. This whole setting is represented very differently than the theatrical cut. The theatrical cut, it's an outdoor shoot. They found a pretty stream, and it's her sitting on a rock and Scotty Dunn standing awkwardly, not saying anything. In the director's cut, though, this is a mat. Like there's a statue and a waterfall and a forest in the background. It's all matted in. Again, I've only seen this in standard definition, this version of the movie, so the effect sells pretty well. In HD, I'm sure this looks weird, like the seams would be really apparent. But yeah, in the director's cut, this mat doesn't exist at all. It's entirely just a location shoot of some sort. So that's something apparently they wanted to go back and fix. Very special edition of him to do. And Kaoru muses about the idea of being an ordinary wife, basically just like living as a carefree like housewife or something. This is something that she was teased about earlier in the movie by one of the other rebels. And the way she passes away is very awkward. She's kind of like considering the idea of like banging the robot man. Yeah. She's like floating the idea. He doesn't talk though, so it's like I don't know if he's planning to reciprocate that or whatever. But she dies before anything can happen, thankfully.
Yeah, and I was a little confused. I was like, it took me a second to be like, oh, she's dead, because essentially her final moments are she's delirious effectively. As she slowly starts slipping away, she talks about, maybe I could be an ordinary bride, like is sort of this idea. And she drops the bell that she has been holding, and we go Jean Cocteau as it hits you probably didn't think you would hear Cocteau while talking about Hakaider. But it's absolutely
heart Cocteau.
No, dude, it's what it is. It's that water effect that he loves so much. It's Orpheus. So the bell, instead of hitting the ground, it makes a puddle that expands and ripples outward again, like Jean Cocteau, and it's a lovely shot. But it also had me going, what? Okay. So we cut back to her dreaming of the Black Knight, and the Black Knight takes off his helmet, and it's Scotty, and they're together, and he casts his sword away, and the sword lights a cross on fire, and it falls over. And we get extended shots with the horse because, damn it, we paid for this horse and we're going to use it. I swear to God, we spent money on this horse, so we're going to use it in as many shots as humanly possible. So they ride away.
Stalker horse, where we could only afford that horse for an afternoon, and he had to be used for the production.
Yeah, exactly. This is we have a different flavor of horse here. This is what happens when you shoot in Japan and not like Croatia, wherever that other one was filmed.
We don't deal with diva horses here in the Japanese film market. Not like those Romanian horses.
They gotta work for a living here. So there's this big extended kind of like romantic sequence, and she's in her white wedding dress. And it's interesting, like, this is probably getting a little in the weeds on the symbolism here, but it's interesting that it's like she in her wedding dress represents white as a form of purity, where in her day-to-day life, white is a form of oppression. It's like it's just kind of one of those interesting elements. Probably unintentional, probably just like, hey, it's a wedding dress, so it's white. But it's like, I don't know, it's just one of those things for me. And at this moment, you're like, okay, so she's imagining it, and the bell drops completely. We see Hakaider by the stream, and he picks up the bell. And you're like, oh, that was her last thoughts. Like, she has expired. Mm-hmm. And he, again, wordlessly, and this is one of those sequences that you almost want, like, Battle Without Honor or Humanity. Like, you always want, as he ties it to his belt, and he gets on his motorcycle and speeds off, and we see the bell like kind of hitting against his leg as he goes off into battle.
So there's a couple more of these in the movie, but for me, this was the bell drop is done exceptionally well. Just the rotoscoping of it, the effect of it is done really well. The sound design is done amazingly. Funny enough, this dream sequence in the theatrical version is the end credits of the movie. All this footage of her in the dress and them riding on the dunes with the statues and background stuff, that's all just the end credits sequence for the theatrical version.
Interesting.
I know. But the way they integrate it here into the director's cut is really beautifully done, because the bell drops and then as you say, it forms this pool effect of a bell dropping into a pool of water, but it's in reality, it's just a bell hitting sand. But we see that neat effect, and then the next shot, the transition is her standing in the dreamscape, and then she has her hands cupped like this, and the bell falls in, like she looks up and the bell falls from reality into the dream world into her hands. And then when she looks up, she's in the dress, and she's, oh, well, how'd this happen? And then she goes on her merry adventure with her robot friend, and then she expires. And then when we cut back to reality, because as Levi had said, that's her final thoughts. When he puts that bell on and he just gives that determined look, and there's a shot on the ground, his feet step out of frame, and then the driving music plays, and there's a flower, the same flower that Gurdjieff has in his office, that spontaneously bursts into flames.
It's one of those images that you're like, that is completely unnecessary, but I'm so glad it's there. I did write flowers on fire ! It's
so
notes.
Cool. Because like it in lieu of dialogue, it's just a determined look, a determined pace, and then this flower is on fire. Yeah. Because this man is going to fuck some shit up now. That's all you need to know. And then he hops on his bike, and he drives off to the HQ, which apparently is like the HQ, because it's this building that is most certainly a building in Japan somewhere. This is not a constructed set or prop. And he just is in Hakaider mode, so he's now in his android form, in his black armor. And he just casually gets off his bike and uses his Hakaider targeting system, very Terminator-esque, to fire a single round into the building that hits the central computer. He Death Stars this shit from a standing position very casually. And he blows up the main computer, and apparently 95% of all the soldiers go down. It
destroys everything in one shot. And I'm like, this is the greatest weapon. This is the greatest shotgun in cinema history.
It kind of is with what it can do. Yeah. So he blows up the main computer at great distance, and it's almost like symbolic of like just like the sledgehammer nature of him, where it's like this is what it can be if we just bypass all conversation, all clash of ideologies, and just shoot the most powerful shotgun in existence into a computer. It can be that blunt and that easy. So also another badass moment after he does all of that, and we like it's like 20-30 seconds of just chaos and explosions following this one gunshot. We finally cut back to him, and he just has his shotgun from a low angle and just goes chunk, and then just hoists it up like this and just walks into a wall of fog, and it's just like like it's so badass. Go for it, Levi.
Reflecting that soundbite, I was just grinning like an idiot for this whole movie. I'm just like, this is so cool. I'm like, every shot is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. There's
so many. There's so many of those. I'm glad you were grinning like an idiot, because I was too. Rewatching this, it still works for me quite well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Mechanical Violator Hakaider is like a fine meal. I didn't feel the need to have any more. I'm like, this is the perfect length. I'm like, I don't need any. I need no more explanation. I know I will not be staying for dessert. Like, I am satisfied.
No, you can take back that second lambed wounding. We have no need for that.
We have no need for a second course of lambed wounding.
Yeah, I'm all full of mechanical violator Hakaider, you see. No room for lambed wounding today. But yeah, we have a Matrix sequence several years before the Matrix.
Yes.
He just walks in the front door. Like that's the kind of man we're dealing with. We've already seen him handle these troops quite handily multiple times in this movie, so the threat level is very low from those guys. So he just walks in the front door, and it's a central hall, and all the remaining troops run down there to try to intercept him, and without his shotgun, just with his bare mitts, he just dismantles them completely and utterly. This is where some of the effects work starts to bug me, because this is a stark difference between this and the theatrical version. There are some digital effects applied to certain like impacts and certain moments in the director's cut that feel hastily implemented and cheap. And I think they're intrusive. And when he's walking into the hall, there's this low angle shot where this like cylindrical aura appears on him. It contributes nothing, but it just looks cheap. And it's not present in the theatrical cut. In addition, when he's fighting Michael at the end of the movie, spoilers, he fights Michael. Didn't see that coming. There's a lot of optical effects and digital effects added to like the impacts of their strikes. And also the stop motion at the end also has some digital effects applied to it that just it looks artificial in that it looks like it was as it was actually done. It looks like something applied after the fact, not intended in the moment. So this is like the first major instance of that I noticed. But he proceeds from the main entryway to a hallway, and again, this fucking gun is it's the ultimate gun, because there's a hallway, tight quarters. He fires once, and there's a shot of multiple men losing arms. Yeah, it's like 10 guys losing arms and or heads because they're all standing so close together, and also the wall gets blown out as well.
What it reminded me of very much so. And it was in this scene in particular that I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so Doom 2099 is in my head, and sort of the way that this character carries himself, and that sort of like, you have no free will of your own, therefore you don't need to keep living, like feels very Dr. Doom. Like it feels Victor Von Doom. And of course the design makes me think Darth Vader.
Yeah.
but the movement and the way this fight is set up and the way this infiltration is set up is very RoboCop.
Very.
And it's just sort of that same deliberate motion, that same easy sort of way of going, how it's like he does react to getting shot, but it just kind of like drives him back a little bit and he just BAM! Like, so we have, I'm trying to remember which one it is, where it's like he's walking into a concrete facility like that. Is that 2 or 3?
Okay, so I know the RoboCop movies really well. Parts of this movie do remind me of RoboCop 2 and 3 in particular.
Yeah.
The Rebel
2 especially.
The Rebel element is very much RoboCop 3, but him being taken out of commission halfway through feels very RoboCop 2. Because I think you might be thinking of in RoboCop 2 when he's going after Tom Noonan, and it's like a factory that is almost analogous to the factory from the first film. And it's a very quiet sequence where like he's met with almost no resistance, but there are traps set up for him here and there. And then eventually he gets put on like an industrial magnet and they torture him. Is that the scene you're thinking of, or is it another one?
I'm trying to think here because it's like it's probably that one. But yeah, it's just the way that he moves and the way that the deliberate, slow, very powerful way that he moves is very RoboCop.
Very much so. And even the hand-to-hand fisticuffs that we see at the end of the movie, every hit has impact to it and is very deliberate. Like there's not a lot of beats in it, but every single one of them has impact. Should be noted, actually, Keita Amemiya worked on a tokusatsu TV show in the late 80s, I believe, called Jiban. I'm actually watching it right now. Heavily inspired by RoboCop, like heavily. But he worked on that show and he did a lot of the monster suit designs and stuff for that. A lot of the character design work for that. So he's seen RoboCop. Just saying that. But so Hakaider takes care of all the troops, seemingly with one shotgun blast. And he steps into an elevator and we have a new scene. This is not in the director or the theatrical cut rather. And basically Hakaider walks into a room where a bunch of people are being held captive, presumably in queue to be lobotomized. And our little boy from Kamen Rider Zoe is among them, by the way. He has no dialogue, but he has a couple of shots all to himself. So it's like, oh, hey, I know that kid. And Hakaider frees them, but he does so after he asks, like, do you have agency, essentially? I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, do you wish to be free? Will you live your lives? And they give enthusiastic nods. And he's like, that's all I need to know. Like, I don't care what you do, just as long as you do it on your own terms. And so he frees all of them, and the kid gives him an appreciative look. And then we get back on track with the theatrical cut of the movie, and he enters Gurdjieff's chamber, and he and Michael square off. And there's a decent amount of dialogue that gets traded between them before they start laying into each other. But there's at least one more moment for me in here, and it involves more burning flowers, Levi. But
yes,
thoughts on the dialogue exchange between the two of them?
It's very clean. It's not overly flowery. There's no kind of soliloquizing about plans or anything. It's just very deliberate that Michael's like, I am justice and I am order and you're getting in the way and you should not be, so I'm gonna kill you. And this I feel like in something else I would be like, this is very hokey, but for some reason with the tone they've set, it works. That Hakaider says, if you are justice, then I must be evil. Like, I am absolutely opposed to you. Like, it is very distinctly setting himself apart. It's like, if you If this is justice, I want no part of it. And the dialogue isn't super dense, but it is very effective at communicating their ideals, where it's clear that Michael is using this phraseology and he believes himself to be correct, but it is another thing that Hakaider says is that he's just my role is to be judge and destroyer. That it's he is the one who sets the scales correctly. He is the one who clears the board.
Yeah, I think it's very effective. Because as you say, the dialogue is fairly sparse. It's only a couple lines exchanged, but it's fascinating to see two characters with such concrete ideologies clash with each other. Because it is that flat. It's that black and white. Where it's just this is where I'm coming from. This is where I'm coming from. Oh, we are opposed to one another. We clash. But yeah, it's sparse dialogue, but I think it's very, very effective. And I also like that there's a distinct cutoff between the dialogue and the combat. I don't need a swashbuckling kind of thing where we're trading barbs as we're crossing swords. I don't need that. They've already that's what's neat about the dialogue here, is that it's settled that quickly. It's just in 2 sentences between the two of them, where it's this is what I'm about, this is what I'm about. Well, I guess we got to fight about it because we can't coexist. And also, it's a neat bit of character work on the part of Hakaider, where he started out the movie amnesiac, and it's almost like a bit of self-definition, and maybe also discovery, but self-definition, where he's oh, if you are indeed justice, then I'm clearly opposite to that. So I guess I'm evil. I guess I know what I am now, thanks to you, because I'm completely the opposite of. I feel I am opposite to you. But yeah, that bit where he declares himself evil and he's holding the flower. They both trade the flower, actually. Michael, he brandishes the flower as a symbol of I nurture, I protect, I maintain law and order. And then Hakaider pushes him off of him and he takes the flower. And then he says, if you're justice, then I must be evil. Flower bursts into flames. It's okay, you got me. I mean, it feels like it should be hokey, but somehow it just works.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get to fighting, and it feels like it starts like a traditional samurai movie or something, where there's that long there's even a gunslinger kind of moment where camera pushes in and they're both completely static, and then their first motion happens simultaneously and they clash knuckles, and then it's beautiful. Yeah. Like this, two snakes facing each other. But yeah, they get to fighting, and it's a nice little fight. Its main characteristic is stillness and silence, because depending on the cut, theatrical edition, the music is present throughout the entire fight. Director's cut, there's no music until the end of the fight, essentially. It's entirely just sound effects, and because they're mechanical, there's no grunts or groans or anything. It's just striking sounds, and its main characteristic is the fact that it's eerily quiet, and all the movements are extremely deliberate. And just I love the little details in their fighting style and stuff, where Hakaider's more brutal. There's even a bit where he lands a punch by punching through a pillar, where he basically just determines this will land. It may not look like it's going to, but I know where he's going to be. I'm going to throw this punch. It's going to go through this pillar and into his face. Whereas Michael's movements are more elegant and have sharper angles to them. Hakaider's are more organic, circular movements, kind of.
Have you ever seen Rob Roy?
Yes. Yeah. What's his face? Tim
It's,
from I can't remember his name. From Reservoir Dogs. And, Planet of the Apes, and Liam Neeson.
Yeah, that's kind of what this fight is. It is quiet, it is deliberate, and we have somebody who is a little bit heavier and a little bit more brutal, and somebody who is a little faster. And it's what gets me. It's not flashy. It's not flashy in the same way that traditional martial arts stuff is. And I bring up Rob Roy as an example because it has a similar quality to it, where it feels very controlled, and it's not like Errol Flynn type sword fighting. And a lot of it is just contrasting the two styles of our opponents. And it's showing it a sword fight for what it typically is that it's a lot of planning. It's a lot of trying to just scope out and find an opening. It's a good fight. Like, and one of the details for this one that I like is because they're both mechanical, neither of them bleed. But the inner bits of the wall is all red. So when they get hit against something, it's all red wires going through it. So it gives them a little bit there. We also have the motif of the feathers again. So it's like we're able to imply blood and viscera without having blood and viscera. Every hit resounds like a cannon blast. It's like they hit a tuning fork because as their metal hits other metal. And we have like the kind of goofy optical effects of it like ripples outward. It looks a little cheap. That's the director's cut stuff. That's not in the theatrical, by the way. Yeah. But it kind of works. Like, it's one of those, it just, again, it showcases just how powerful these two are. And because it is so deathly quiet in the director's cut, it really has a good tension to it. Just because of the sound of every single hit, is almost a debilitating blow. Like, every hit would kill somebody. Mm-hmm. But it's like, there's no like love taps. There's no rabbit punches in this. It's every hit would kill you. So you're kind of left wondering, like, how many hits is it going to take? And there's a good give and take to the battle. There's moments where, like, one fighter has the upper hand and then the other. One of the things that Michael uses continually. I'm not sure why the one-winged angel thing is a reoccurring motif in Japanese art. I don't know how that keeps coming up. I don't know where that comes from. But both he and his boss have a one-winged angel thing. So the wing extends out and has blades on it. So that is sort of the advantage that Michael has, is that he has an extra weapon that keeps both of his hands free. So there's these give and takes in that respect. And then, of course, Hakaider has the greatest shotgun in the world. And there's a great sequence near the end of it where he's pretty much debilitated, where he's down and out, and he reaches for the shotgun, and Michael picks it up and just unloads all the shells one at a time. And they all just rhythmically hit the floor, and it's a lovely sequence. The whole thing is just so nicely shot, and it's so nicely paced, and it just keeps you engaged, because you would think a slower fight like this may kind of lose you a little bit, but the tension is very well put together.
Yeah, I've always really enjoyed this fight, if for nothing else than just how unique it is. Because it is eerily quiet, and it is set at a very different pace from most fights you'd find. And the complete lack of jabs and fact-finding involved in the choreography is what sets it apart, is that every movement is very deliberate. It like you say, there's no need for like fact-finding. There's no need for like gauging distance or timing or rhythm or anything like that. It's just like it's all power blows landed very decisively and or countered very decisively. So every movement has quite a lot of impact to it. And also I think the music is very effective. There's like a choral, like a drone that's playing over it for the most part. By the way, I looked it up because it was bothering me. Tim Roth is the
Roth.
name.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's Tim Roth. Very, very good actor, by the way.
Phenomenal actor.
Almost saved Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes because he is phenomenal in that. But that movie's dog shit.
What wonderful makeup for a lousy picture. All I remember is Helena Bonham Carter's ape getting very, very excited in the bedroom. Like that scene where it's just like pure chaos and it's all of the monkeys hooting and she's like up in the air going, and I'm like, what am I watching? Why am I here?
Paul Giamatti seemed to have fun on that one too.
Paul Giamatti is... I think there's a clip, like it's like Letterman or something, where Paul Giamatti was invited on the show and he's in full makeup.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
And it's just like, welcome to the stage, Paul. What?
Paul orangutan man? Okay. But yeah, where were we? Anyway, the what I was referring to is Tim Roth is the other half of the fight at the end of Rob Roy. It's
Yes.
Liam Neeson versus Tim Roth, and Tim Roth is a very small man.
Yes,
but he's framed as a very agile and extraordinarily effective sword fighter. And Liam Neeson is an honest 6'4" probably. And if you've ever seen him wield a sword as Qui-Gon Jinn, he's not super elegant in his movements. Never has been. But him and Tim Roth, just from a visual standpoint, it's like big man, little man. Like it's very effective. Where just from an aesthetic standpoint, it's like, oh, I would expect these two men to move in very different fashions. They incorporate that into the choreography. It is one of the best sword fights I've seen on film, honestly. And it's very long too.
Yeah.
Not a very commonly seen movie as far as I know, but if for nothing else, you get to see that.
I only saw it this previous year.
Really?
And it was one that came across it came into my purview just like kind of by happenstance, and I picked up a VHS copy.
Okay. I came across it because of that sword fight. I was researching sword fighting on film, and that was cited as one of the better examples, and I hold to that. I think it is one of the better sword fights I've seen on film. Funny enough, Liam Neeson has a couple of amazing fights on his filmography. You wouldn't think of that from
Yes.
him, but, The Big Man has one of the better bare knuckle fights on film.
I saw your guys' episode on that. Rather, I listened to it, and I kind of want to watch it. It sounds like an interesting picture.
Yeah, I don't think it's like an amazingly good film or anything, but it gave me enough. From a visual standpoint, there's some neat stuff going on in there, and hey, can't go wrong with Billy Connolly. We all like Billy Connolly, especially when he looks like Jay Leno in the movie. He really does. It's weird. It's distracting because I think it was before he had facial hair. So he just had the big skunk mullet, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing, Billy? Anyway, back to the movie. So Hakaider is deprived of the world's strongest shotgun. However, he does manage to grab a couple of shells from his world's strongest shotgun. And there's one knock I have against this cut of the movie during this fight scene. By the way, there's additional hits landed in this cut of the movie. Theatrical cut, it's more brief. There's fewer hits landed on Hakaider in particular. He's more on the ropes in this version of this movie. There's a music cue in the theatrical cut that I think is really awesome that isn't here because of timing purposes. There's like a shift in the instrumentation of the music that is timed in the theatrical cut to when Michael uppercuts him with his own shotgun. It works really, really well. It's a shame that's not in the director's cut. But anyway, as it so happens, we didn't know about this. It would have been nice to plant the seeds for this. Maybe have the rebels be responsible for it. That would have been perfect, honestly, because we saw that they repaired his arm. Hakaider has a super duper secret hidden gun in his wrist. that uses the same shells.
I kind of like that. Personally, I kind of like that there is no setup.
It just comes out of nowhere.
Because I wrote wrist shotgun in all caps with an exclamation point in my notes. Because I'm like, okay, he has the shells. What is he gonna do with the shells? What's he gonna do with them? It's gotta turn the tide somehow. What's he gonna do with the shells? Wrist shotgun!
Ooh, Levi, alternative version. He has the shells. He somehow like tackles Michael, and he doesn't have a wrist gun, but he does have, mechanical fists. He like braces the shell on his head or on his chest and punches it to service the hammer to it.
And that's what I thought it was gonna be. That's what I thought it was gonna be. I will accept wrist shotgun. I will accept Deus Ex shotgun.
Yeah. So yeah, he has a gun in his wrist that I don't like that the director's cut speeds up the footage. It looks a little chintzy. The theatrical cut, they use the same footage, but it's cut to a different pace. It's clearly accelerated in the director's cut. And yeah, he loads this wrist gun and he blows off Michael's arm. A lot of arms get blown off in this movie.
I think it's a leftover from samurai cinema. It's that
Absolutely.
idea. It's the idea of taking the right hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason the opening shot of this fight is highly evocative of Chambara cinema. But yeah, Michael is disarmed, quite literally, and the music shifts to have the Hakaider theme starts playing. Has like a solemn tone to it. And Hakaider just goes to town on him, where he actually tried multiple times during the fight. I love this kind of visual storytelling, where after he's hit with that wing weapon the first time, immediately the next time they lock up, his hand, the first thing he does is reaches for the wing to keep it from moving. It's like putting your thumb in between the hammer of like a gun or something and he's trying to prevent that from happening again. It doesn't work out very well, but immediately first thing he does is he tears it straight out of Michael's back. Then he flips him over his shoulder, and we get the first and only groan in the entire fight. It's effectively implemented. I really like it, where the whole time they're hammering on each other, there's no verbalizations or any vocalizations of any sort. Hakaider twists, very Mechagodzilla-like, he twists Michael's neck, he breaks his neck essentially, and pulls his head out of its socket. And when he breaks his neck, Michael lets out like a "Ooh!" and it's like the only verbalization in the entire fight. And it comes at the very end of it. Pretty cool. So Michael is dispatched, and Gurdjieff,
fatality.
Very much so. Very Sub-Zero like. Gurdjieff steps out from the shadows, and he tries to bargain. He's come to bargain. He's come to bargain with Hakaider. He's telling him like, yo, it'd be really nice if you'd be obedient. It seems like you're not going to be though. So I'm going to say, hey, I can offer you power. And Hakaider just does not give a shit. However, he is interrupted. Their conversation is interrupted because Gurdjieff was buying time for the final boss of the movie. Levi, thoughts on our stop motion creature?
First of all, I wrote, there's a shot of Michael's eyes kind of flashing a little bit and his head is smoking, to which I wrote in my notes, smoking Michael head Yule log.
I would put that on my TV.
Could I have a rolling smoking Michael head Yule log?
I will make that for you, Levi. I will make a 10-hour loop of Michael's head smoking.
It's like I just need that. We could set it to like you set it to like Christmas music jazz. I'll get a cut of it. I'll put it on a tape. It'll my smoking Michael head Yule log. I don't know why I thought of it. I'm just like, what if that just like kept going and there was like jazz behind it?
I want that in my home.
So Michael's head is recovered and put onto let's face it, RoboCop 2. It's put into the Kane bot.
Mhm.
It is very RoboCop 2, this final fight. In a way, again, this may just be me putting symbolism where there isn't. So the hand comes through the wall and grabs Hakaider and pulls him into another room where they can safely rotoscope things without having to worry about continuity. So they rotoscope and they do stop motion. They have this big fight. And I think if I wanted to think of it symbolically, this is what their power actually looks like. Michael is in fact a giant, crushing, horrifying machine that should be feared. Where on the outside, at first, he is an angelic being and he has elegance and the way that he does things could be seen as justice. It could be seen as honor. It could be seen as order. When in fact, in reality, he is this horrifying, crushing force. At least all of the trappings have been taken away. Where they're fighting is dark and dank and awful, and Michael's head is mounted to this big, mechanical thing with buzz saws and really harsh looking claws and everything on it. So if I wanted to read into it symbolically, that's how I would place it, is that this is what this power actually looks like. And the fight's well executed. It's cool. It's neat. It's good to look at. It is a little bit wrist shotgun, and that it's just where the hell is this coming from? I mean, it's neat, so okay. And Hakaider gets pretty beat up before he manages to dispatch Michael with our second insane hidden weapon of the film, which is a 3-barreled chest cannon that comes out of the X and blows Michael's second head off.
Yeah, I like that, by the way, the shorthand wrist shotgun for thing that was not set up via exposition in any way, that just arrives.
It is the big-lipped alligator moment of this picture.
Well said. I'm actually trying to find a photo of, because I have this book here, you see. I'm actually trying to find a photo of the chest weapon. And wouldn't you know it, it doesn't exist, because this is actually one of the largest differences, aside from, all the narrative components, between the versions of this movie. So the director's cut, we have a CGI effect of Hakaider's chest opening up. It's 3 barrels, a gun of sorts, embedded in his chest that fires some sort of weapon into Michael and blows his head off again. The theatrical cut, he wrist shotguns him again. It's kind of lame, but it's you didn't. I still have the wrist shotgun. They deliberately show him grab 2 shells, and I guess that was the second shell. The thing is, he gets surprised because, like you say, he gets yanked through the wall, and also the RoboCop 2. Let's just face it, the Kane bot has machine guns on it that he blows off Hakaider's arm. That happens in both versions of the movie, but in the theatrical cut, Hakaider grabs his own arm, his own severed arm, and then holds it up to Michael and shoots him again.
That's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, it kind of works, and I think it's cleaner. I think it's more clean than the janky CGI effect we get, especially because there's a freeze frame right before the pyrotechnics go off that it looks so artificial. It does look like something that was altered after the fact. Like the theatrical cut is more clean in general. Like it feels like everything that exists in that movie is done as well as it can be done. Whereas there's some hastily implemented elements of the director's cut that I find distracting sometimes. So more often than not, I actually do watch the theatrical cut of this one. It's shorter, and I don't feel you lose if you've already seen the director's cut. You can fill in those blanks. You can kind of like transpose them onto each other upon rewatch. But yeah, the symbolism, I think you're right on the money. I agree with you. I think that's really fascinating. There's an additional wrinkle, though, that I'm curious if you have any thoughts on. When Michael's head is placed on the Canebot, his color scheme changes.
Yeah.
It changes from white and silver to blue and red. And the reason this is done, I don't entirely understand, but that color scheme, having it split down the middle, that's Keita. That's Hakaider, the hero of the franchise that Hakaider comes from. I'm curious if that changes what that would mean to you, because I don't have an interpretation for that, but I'm curious what that would contribute to your mind.
That's a good question. Well, because at that point it is. Well, and the thing is the last thing that Michael utters before he's killed, and you get that face, that split face is the final thing we see from him, is he just says justice. Mm-hmm. and his eyes go out.
Yeah, more specifically says I am justice.
I am justice.
Yeah.
And it's if I was to look at that further, it would be like what we portray as justice in the television show. There are more perspectives that it's like clearly this can go too far. It's the sort of choice that feels kind of strange to transpose the hero's color scheme onto this, because I assume Hakaider and Michael are very different characters.
That's my understanding. I'm actually not super well versed in Keita, but I'm thinking it could have something to do with corruptibility, where Hakaider is a very absolute character. Like he's very solidified in what he is and how he feels on matters, whereas a more malleable character, like say a Pinocchio or something, who has to find his conscience, like Hakaider is supposed to be representative of, can be swayed towards this kind of awfulness.
It's a little bit of Luke and Vader's mask. Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, I don't know if it's true. It could just be an artistic thing where it's just, I just like the sound of it. It's like it's just there out of whimsy, you know. It's like if we're doing a Hakaider thing, fuck it, let's put him in there. But I'm glad we went over that though, because I always thought that was interesting. I never was able to really pinpoint its meaning, and I don't know if I have yet. But anyway, Canebot is down, and Hakaider, excuse me, has a final confrontation with Gurdjieff, who in the theatrical cut is funny because he brandishes his very large revolver and pulls the trigger immediately, and it has no bullets in it. Whereas in the director's cut, he empties it. He tries very hard to kill Hakaider, and it doesn't work. But yeah, in the theatrical cut, he's like, oh, forgot to load the thing. I mean, maybe it's like a symbol of his impotence or something. It's like he carries this thing that's supposed to be symbolic of power, but has no ability to wield it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's also an old world. It's an old world symbol of power. It's an old world weapon.
Yes, very deliberately. So Gurdjieff ends up just like cowering on the floor, telling Hakaider don't come, like basically saying stay away. And Hakaider comes to the conclusion that you're not worth it. Like I don't need to kill you. And it's like it kind of points to his worldview of just like you don't care to live anyway. So like what is it worth it to me to end your life? But Gurdjieff ends up picking up one of the Canebot's weapons that fell on the floor, and he tries to shoot Hakaider in the back, which results in the Falcon Punch to end all Falcon Punches. Hakaider runs across the room and gut punches Gurdjieff so hard that he summons a light from God and a storm of feathers and a choir on top of that.
It's a wild moment. It's
so cool. It's so stupid, but I kind of love it.
This is the correct filmmaking this is the good filmmaking version of Mike Myers getting hit in the balls in the Cat in the Hat movie. Where Easy Like Sunday Morning starts playing and he's on a swing. This is like the lawful good version of that, where that's the chaotic evil version of the scene.
that cutaway. Yeah. How many Cat in the Hat references have we had consecutively? I think that might be 2. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that might be, because we brought it up with Bo Welch.
Yeah, we were talking about production design. So yeah, Cat in the Hat, apparently. We're going to keep referencing Cat in the Hat.
For some reason, that lives in my brain.
With good reason. That movie sticks with you. Images, at the very least.
It's like an old wound. It never truly heals.
So yeah, he kills the fuck out of Gurdjieff, and it is... Wow, this is... You want some anime shit in your movie? This is some straight anime shit.
Feathers rain down as a light from God is over him.
And an angelic choir sings. And
we're there for like 45 seconds, guys. Like, we just hold on this moment.
Yeah, he gets punched in the gut. We have a close-up of his face. We have a close-up of Hakaider's face. We have the wide shot of both of them. And you can see the suit actor, like, struggling to maintain his footing because he's in this dramatic pose. And you can see him, like, shudder just a little bit. It's incredible. And the feather storm is beautiful. That's a recurring motif in the movie, so it actually kind of fits. And I had in my notes, the white door exit is pimp. Because there's that shot of... It's the doorway, and Hakaider walks away from the camera into it, and it's blown out with light so dramatically that it just looks like a white gate, basically, and it looks so cool. And yeah, as every good movie should end, the story's done. Like, bad guy's done, so Hakaider just takes off on the road, and he hops on his motorcycle. He has his bell that he got from Kalaru. He flicks it and he drives off on his motorcycle. Yeah. The ending music differs between cuts of the film. There is like a J-pop like dance song that plays in, I think, the theatrical edition. It's absent from this version. There's also an instrumental piece that I believe is Hakaider's theme from the Keita TV show, 70s, that feels grossly out of place. That's in the theatrical version. It's not here. They just used the Hakaider theme that we've heard throughout the entire film. By the way, the score is done by Koichi Ota, who also, if memory serves, was the composer for Zeiram. So he's worked with this director a few times. But yeah, that's Hakaider.
Yeah, and the final shot before he gets on the motorcycle is super Road Warrior. Just because of the way the pauldrons and everything sit on Scotty's body. And he's like kind of mid, and the Scotty body. It's all about that. It's like that's what the ladies like.
That's Scotty body though.
It's stay away from it. But so it's like one of his sleeves is kind of messed up, and it looks like the Road Warrior armor, and he does the walk up to the motorcycle, and you're like, yeah, we know what we're doing.
It's explicit for sure.
But let me tell you guys, the movie ends, and I had a delightful time. That was a wonderful picture.
I'm glad to hear that. Because, Kamen Rider J, I think I've always kind of just been like, this isn't quite it. Like, I love Zoe, but J feels like it should be on par, but it just somehow just doesn't land the same. Even though it's clearly very expensive and clearly very well planned, very well conceived, there's just something missing. This one is kind of startling, actually, just the clarity of vision on display, where it's like it's completely different from those other ones. It was produced for the same purpose, to be exhibited in the same fashion as those other two Kamen Rider movies, but like tonally and just in terms of presentation, it's so very different, and it really always has worked for me, because this was a pretty early movie for me for Keita Amemiya's filmography. I certainly saw this well before I saw Kamen Rider J. I think it was like Zeiram and Kamen Rider Zo were like the first two movies of his I definitely saw when I was pretty young. And then like this was kind of like the next one up that I actually sought out, and it has always landed really well for me. And I mean, talking about it now, it's like I think it's always gonna land really well for me.
Yeah.
I like this movie quite a lot.
I like this one better than Zoe, because in Zoe, you can kind of, I can feel that it's coming from something else, and
Yes.
there are things that we need to have from the other thing that everyone's familiar with in order for it to be here. We can't just brush past the backstory items. We can't brush past the henshin. We have to have the rider. There are things we have to have. It's required. It's the law. And so there are moments like that I feel like don't hurt it, but it makes it clear that this is my take on insert thing. This is my take on this property. Where this one feels like a complete vision. It feels just totally of its own ilk. It is of its own vision. It is a complete thing that it doesn't feel like, oh, we need to get in an explicit reference here and here. We don't need to stop the thing dead so we can say the famous line so everyone can clap. This one feels like a complete vision, and that helps. That helps it immensely in my mind, because Zoe makes me feel like I should, while technically I don't have to, I should know a little something going in, or at least it makes me feel like I should, and also it's just shorter. There's not nearly as much breathing room for it. Where this feels completely self-contained, it feels like it's its own thing, and it has that breathing room. Yeah,
it should be said that Kamen Rider Zo is like 50 minutes long, maybe. This one, the director's cut is 77 minutes. Like I said, it feels much more like a movie. And I do think that that's its biggest strength. I think it was probably very deliberate on the part of our director that this is not a Keita movie, this is a Hakaider movie, which has never been done before or since. Also, it's worth mentioning that Kamen Rider had a couple of TV shows in the 80s. Kamen Rider Zo and J, as far as I understand, were basically all that was done with Kamen Rider in the 90s. Keita, though, as far as I know, was dormant and has largely been dormant since the 70s. So it's not like it was a thing that was like in the popular consciousness. Like it was very much a dormant property. And it's worth pointing out that there was a very long stretch of time beginning with Zeiram 2. So in 1994, post Kamen Rider J, where Keita Amemiya seemed to be doing more what you're talking about, more his own thing rather than playing with other people's toys. So Kamen Rider J comes out in 1994. Zetarum 2 comes out the same year, which is an original property. Hakaider comes out very shortly after Zetarum 2. That's playing with someone else's toys. And then everything else the man did after Hakaider, basically, up until the 2000s, was his own stuff. So it seemed to me that he was trending in this direction. And this movie is kind of like officially like his last outing playing with other people's toys. And even still, it's like, I'm going to really do my own thing with it. It's like, if you want me, I get to do what I want with it. Because clearly he made them a lot of money and did a lot of good work with them. But he seemed to be trending away from working with Toei in this capacity.
Yeah, it's playing with other people's toys, but only like based on, because I did some quick reading. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, what am I getting into here? It sounds, it's playing with other people's toys, but almost only in name only. It's like, here's this character, here's kind of sort of what he was about, here's kind of sort of the visual language of this character, and that's it. It's like, where are we going to put him? What are we going to do with him? And again, it's one of the reasons why it feels like something like Doom 2099. It's, well, here's Victor Von Doom. So here's this character. There's no Reed Richards. There's no Fantastic Four. There's no, and like all of the familiar trappings are gone. We're giving him a new cast and new characters. The whole thing's different. We're just using this character, and that is all. It might as well be its own thing, but we are utilizing something that is familiar to jumpstart the idea.
It's a common practice in the film world where it's like we need to sell people on the product. Sometimes it's a much easier sell to take something familiar or somewhat known and use that as a foundation to build from. Because yeah, aside from the iconography, aside from like the silhouette of the character and some of the names, this is an original idea. And like I said, he would keep doing this for many years after this. And these days, seemingly all he does is Garo, which works for me. I bit pretty hard for Garo in the mid 2000s. Not sure if we'll touch that this month, but we'll see. I'll think on that. But yeah, this was a Mechanical Violator Hakaider from the year 1995, as directed by Keita Amemiya. Thank you for joining me today, Levi. This was a ton of fun. It's a long one, but very fun. Before we go, though, hey, Levi, how about you let our listeners and or viewers know where they can find you and your YouTube stuff?
You can find me at Your Captain Speaking. We talk about books, mostly stuff I consider to be in the men's action genre. So that is fantasy, war stories, adventure, detective novels. We cover things that are essentially under 200 pages or less. So things you can knock out in an afternoon. The biggest idea around the project is reminding people to read. That most guys tend to read nonfiction or like self-help books and that sort of thing. And it's just like, hey, if you want to get back to reading fiction, it's not just Brandon Sanderson or Get Out. It's, you can read something that you can knock out in an afternoon, and they're well written and they're a lot of fun. So that's what I talk about.
Yeah, definitely check out Levi's channel, Your Captain Speaking. He does amazing work. Really, so much passion on display. Definitely check out the Zorro episode. He's very proud of that. He didn't tell you this time, but he'll tell you every other time. So definitely check out the Zorro episode. As for myself, you're listening to the program. It's called Catching Up on Cinema. It's a podcast where we review films, often at length, as you may have noticed. It's available pretty much everywhere podcasts are found, including YouTube. And also, at least once a month, we try to do a live stream here called Tales from the Shelf, where we talk about our respective film collections. usually based around a unifying topic of sorts that we determine very hastily right before we record. But that being said, thank you so much for joining us today. Tune in next week for another Keita Amemiya directed film review. But yeah, that being said, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
That is